7.
Seven?
Seven.
Is that your lucky number, Mortifer?
Well, it's in the name. Mortifer777. It's my Twitch channel.
Oh, you guys, because all these camera flipped, I just realized your spot's messed up. It was perfect before, but the camera
You're
flip
trying
happened.
to blame me for your shoddy hosting?
I am Ollie Rant.
Hold on. Gotta fix that. Hi, everybody. How we doing? This is us going live. This is us going live.
Right
How's
on
that?
time.
This is
Right when
great.
we wanted to.
Yeah. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Lost Initiative Dark Sun. Now I'm saying Dark Souls because that tweet that I just saw 2 seconds ago. Lost Initiative Dark Sun, Season 2, Session 1. I'm a little excited because unlike Star Wars, where we did some 2-year time jump thingy, we're actually only doing a little teeny tiny 2.5-week time jump. So let's see where that puts us. Almost done fixing these boyos. There we are. There you are, Dave. Good, good, and transition. All right, everybody's who they're supposed to be. As a reminder to who these characters are, in case you're somebody that didn't see Season 1, if you guys just remind us a basic idea of what your character's name is, what they are, who they do. Keep it quick, and I'll do a quick sum up of Season 1. We'll start with you, Ollie.
Shashik is a dirty crime boy. He is a a street rat that can also affect the minds of others and make them see their most horrifying fears. Casual, regular, normal person.
Awesome. Thank you. Next up is we're gonna do you last. Dave, who's your character?
So my character's name is Einar Nielsen, who usually goes by Einar. He is an older man who comes from a country distance away called Nibene. He's arrived here on a quest, and the quest became revealed at the end of last season, which was to resurrect a bunch of ancient champions in service to some master, which the rest of the party is not 100% aware who that is. He specializes in summoning magic and ectoplasm, where he uses ectoplasm to shape the world around him. He can create things out of ectoplasm, melt living and non-living things into ectoplasm, and he can sometimes use it to summon something called an astral construct, which is a summon made out of ectoplasm, which is pretty good, pretty powerful.
Thank you. And Mortifer.
I'm Wade. I'm playing Mortifer, a half-giant psionic warrior who loves death and destruction and smashing in both ways.
Okay, I got that joke.
Thank you.
He's actually a really reasonable person, though, actually, if you get to talk to him.
Jack is not here
He's
intentionally.
wise, just dumb.
Jack is not here intentionally, and so we will have him recap who he is at the beginning of next session when he rejoins us. To recap for Season 1. Season 1 started off with everybody kind of in their own little places, how they were meeting up. And where they met up was more or less outside somebody's door or inside somebody's door, getting a job. Mortifer breaking free from his from where he was a gladiator during this day with this ridiculous event happens, but making a friend along the way, a man named Jack, who is actually thrown in there specifically to die because Jack had actually killed a Templar, which in the world of Dark Sun, Templars are untouchable. They are the authority underneath the sorcerer kings and queens that rule the city-states in the world of Athos. To mess with them, to even lie to them, they could punish you for whatever reason that they deem fit and don't have to answer to anybody other than themselves or the sorcerer king and queen. So it's one of those things where you just don't mess with them, and he killed one. The two of them broke their way free, eventually found out about a job opportunity, and went and met up with this elf dude. Worry about him in a second. Then we have Shashik, who was, hired to do a job by some gritty old man. Hired to do a job and get him across town while the whole place was just in utter chaos and disarray because of the things that had transpired, the death of the sorceress queen that had controlled the city, sent everything just utter chaos and turmoil. Granted, the city was already at a head. It was already on the verge of exploding into that anyways. But with her death, it made it worse than it may have been before. And so they safely gets him across the city, does the job. They decide to continue traveling together for their various reasons, and also meet up at that job at that doorstep. When they get to that job, because they were kind of lured there by somebody, when they get to that job, the person hires them to break into the Sorceress Queen's, or say the late Sorceress Queen's, palace. It's a palace made out of alabaster and ivory. In a world where there is very little ivory, because there are very little creatures that have ivory, tusks and whatnot in existence, because almost all the fauna on the planet is dead. Sounds like insectoids and humanoids, which are kind of like insects. The place that they're supposed to break into is heavily fortified, lots of magics protecting it, so on and so forth. Luckily for them, most of that stuff had been removed, but instead there's like warring factions of people trying to take over the city-state now. They do a whole bunch of tasks that find themselves into that actual castle. When they get into the castle, they have to try to find out who controls what regions and to more or less get to their actual job there. It's not just to get into the castle, but to break into a vault that exists in the castle. Not just any vault, but a vault that happens to be hidden down beneath an actual vault that had existed there prior. A hidden one that most likely nobody ever knew of, except for maybe the Sorceress Queen herself. And even then, who knows? They successfully do so after a lot of hard fighting and little puzzles or whatever that they had to solve. A scene involving Jack that we'll never speak of again. Ever. Ever. And eventually they get down into an area where there's a whole bunch of people. I believe there's 9 people lying in a chamber. Sorry, my apologies, 10 people. 9 around, 1 in the center, lying in sarcophagi. The sarcophagi opened up, and at Einar, that's Dave's character's direction, a whole bunch of small obsidian orbs. He had 11 of them on him. He used all 10 of them during that task. Placed them inside each of their the corpses' mouths, and did a very, very small ritual that ended with shattering the orbs in their mouths, and had the orbs go into their bodies and bring them back from the dead. Completely restored to the life that they had beforehand. They made hint at how long they were dead, saying that it wasn't full 100 years, but pretty darn close to it. They start giving orders to everybody that is around them. The party just immediately cowtails and does what they say, including even handing over magic items that they had found upstairs. From there is where we're doing our little time hop, because that's where season 1 ended. Jack being led off by one of the ladies that had come back to life for whatever reason, which we'll discover when we see Jack next session. Thank you, Wade. And everybody else being sent to, well, wait. And the time between the ending of last season, time between last session and the beginning of this one, Jack, my apologies, Shashuk and Mortifer were brought down into a chamber that actually is familiar to Shashuk. He's seen it once before. At the end of last season, there was a chamber that was discovered by flicking a switch in the Sorceress Queen's bedroom. A stairwell that led down a couple flights and into a storage room that eventually, or what he thought was a storage room at the time, and eventually into a large chamber, kind of like a sitting room with a whole bunch of honeycombed rooms off of it. Well, that's now become their home for the time being. It was discovered by them after time, and certainly spending a significant amount of it there, that this area down here was actually originally designed to house her sex slaves. Not the good ones, not the glorious ones that she would bring upstairs to the scenic room that was above the roof of this place, the penthouse. But the ones that she would keep about for just the daily routine. I'm bored. The chamber has been emptied long ago, not with corpses, just people had left here long ago, and left it open to now be their room entirely to themselves. While it was a chamber large enough or small enough, whatever you'd like to say, to uncomfortably house 100 slaves, it is actually more than enough to very comfortably house a handful of people, or less than a handful of people. So you guys have spent the past 2.5 weeks or so. There's been, because I don't know how well you're keeping track of days. Neither of you can count very well. Shut up, Mortifer. I know. How many kills?
306 confirmed kills.
Oh, jeez.
That count, because beasties don't. 3,436 if you count the beasties.
I have a question. If we were to kill Shashuk, would that? Never mind. So, you.
Of course it would count. Why wouldn't it count?
He's worth 2.
Oh.
Because even he can scare Mortifer.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's actually legit. All right, so while you guys are down there, you had more or less claimed one room, several rooms, as many as you want to yourselves, and you've gotten comfortable, and you relaxed, and your aching muscles and ligaments, all your joints, everything, finally got the rest they needed. Was the food quality? No, but that's all you really know to exist anyways. But the days were long and quiet, and you were actually able to fully rest your minds and yourselves. After those 3 days, you realize how horribly bored you were, and you just needed to do something. And then it was 2 weeks of scratching the back of your neck, pacing back and forth, punching walls, arguing with one another, sticking to rooms by yourself to just not talk to each other whatsoever, as you just got cabin fever, locked in this frigging place for another 2 weeks. And it was absolutely horrible, horrible, punctuated by the fact that Einar, who also had a room down there, was allowed to come and go as he pleased. He could leave whenever he'd like, and often was called out to do tasks, and then would make his way back as he needed. Sometimes he would not spend the night there. Sometimes he would spend the night elsewhere as directed by those that are now running the city. But the 2.5 weeks finally come to pass. You guys are...
Could you just repeat to me, like, what reason do they have to, like, actually stay there? Just because these guys are powerful and, like, would kill them?
Because we're locked in.
Oh, you're literally locked in.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
You are actively locked into that room, but beyond just being locked in the room, if they would try to like just break down the door and leave, there are guards standing outside to stop it. And could they kill those guards? Sure, but Einar would have warned them at any point in time. Don't cross them. Just don't, because you know that it would be a swift end to these simple souls if they were to cross the champions, or whatever it is that you want to refer to them as, the leaders of the city-states as it stands right now. So you guys obviously know, and you saw them come back from the dead. You can feel the presence of them. Everybody got the feeling, let's not. So as I said, 2.5 weeks pass. And at the end of those 2.5 weeks, a morning comes to pass of actual note. Sure, there's been the purging of the castle. Sure, there's been the pushback of the Templars and those that would serve some would-be champion of the people, this breaker of chains and all that. And sure, there were those of wealth that hired their guard or had them loyal to them for one reason or another. But they were very easily pushed out of the castle. And when I say very easily, I mean in a matter of hours. The castle had been purged. So the only ones that were left within it were the 10 that came back from the dead, and the 4 of you. Though you didn't see Jack at that point or moving forward. Your characters were not a part of that purge. You actually didn't even witness it. You heard, screams from down below and from chambers to the side, but you actually stood and watched as 3 of those people that had come back from the dead had a conversation amongst themselves in a language that you didn't understand. Either way, this morning is of significance because Einar had been given a task to more or less oversee some of the details of the ritual that they were going to be doing. The ritual didn't take place just anywhere in the city. It actually took place in the Hole. As a reminder, the Hole is this one spot along the wall that leads to like the district that actually is the Queen's Hill, like the secluded area that was all Templars and where the Alabaster Tower stood. The Hole is where like a whole bunch of the slaves and refugees and whatnot kind of like pushed together and built like almost like a refugee home within the city. And it was very densely packed. There's a few thousand people that live there, out in the open in whatever tents that they could hold up before somebody else stole the tent and ran off and built it up 200 feet over. You know what I mean? Like it was just a hardcore refugee area within the walled city itself. Einar witnessed an event transpire. One of the champions, or whatever you'd like to call them, one of them, actually the leader of them, walked amongst the people, but he did so in a way that they didn't recognize him. Sure, Einar could see him, no problem, but none of the other peoples even recognized that he was there. As he walked, they seemed to move out of the way for him, just by sheer coincidence. Every step he took, nobody was in his path, despite how densely populated the area was. Maybe somebody had bent over to pick something up. Maybe somebody stepped to the side to get, say, closer conversation with another, throw a fist, whatever the case may be. Until he stood at about the center of this group of people. The whole while holding before him an orb made out of obsidian. It is not the same orb that was used to open the door beforehand. Einar can confirm that. But nonetheless, it is an orb in his hands. He holds it forward before them and starts chanting some dark, ancient ritual. And the tendrils of magic that came out of the orb were only perceptible to him and this champion. And nobody else was aware of how they were growing out in the cloud, growing larger and larger, encompassing the area. And then as the chant got louder and grew stronger, as the ground around everybody seemed to shake and shift a little, as there seemed to be like a coldness in the air of the burning sun on the desert plains of Athos, the air seemed to go colder, and people seemed to notice that, seeing their breath, kind of reacting to it, but not knowing why or what was causing it. There was a bit of like a stir happening, and then all of a sudden, as that chanting hit a climax, thousands of people's bodies just dropped, all at once.
How many?
Thousands.
Holy shit.
Just dropped all at once. Your job was to do a rough estimate of how many were there. You had done that, the past couple of days prior, and you had done your task at that point in time. Your rough estimate is 2,400. Just dropped suddenly to the ground. And the black tendrils lingered for a few extra moments and then slowly eeped back into the orb. Once again, not perceived by anybody but you and him. Him now perceivable by the remaining few that happen to be on the outskirts of this effect happening. Them all screaming, cries, fear, try to clamber over walls, killing each other to get away. It sent a shockwave throughout the city. A shockwave that, frankly, you don't really have to witness, because he starts walking back towards the alabaster tower, and you follow him back into the castle. He says nothing to you. You say nothing to him. And when he finally goes to sit in his comfortable seat on her throne, he looks to you and says, "Summon them," in reference to your friends. And you immediately go walking off down into the basement. Well, not the basement, sorry, the first floor. By first floor, I mean ground level. Ollie, you're welcome. Into the back quadrant where they were stored, where they were kept. As you've come and go many times beforehand, but this time with maybe a bit of weight on your shoulders, having never witnessed anything like that before, only heard.
When I got down there, I would probably just been like stunned silence and like a cold sweat the whole time. And as I descend the stairs, like I would like completely ignore them as I kind of would like just stumble towards like the nearest wall and like let it support my weight. As like I would like probably just suddenly just start laughing and like like terrified laughter, like just start laughing in this like hysterically, but it's like very clearly like a terrified laughter that like it's so unbelievable, it's preposterous, and therefore like funny.
How do you guys react to that?
This old man just hysterically laughing.
Yeah, but it's not like funny, like laugh at a joke.
No, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I doubt Shashik would be around, honestly.
I mean, the whole chamber, even though it's large enough, you could easily hear it. I mean,
yeah,
it's furnished, but not so well furnished that like it deafens sound. It
do
echoes.
you think someone like Shashik isn't having a tantrum at being locked away in this kind of place? He's just ignoring it.
Okay.
What did we
He
hear?
probably thinks it's mocking him.
We heard the beat drop, so to speak.
Oh, my apologies. So you heard the laughter that same morning. My apologies. Thank you, Wade. Going back to your perspective, as he comes in and does that, your own perspective that morning. That morning when you woke up, Mortifer, you woke up late you're a very routine person, but you woke up a little bit later than you usually do, like an hour and a half, 2 hours later than you usually do. You can't really keep track of time. We're in a place where you don't have sunlight or a clock, but later than you used to from what you understand your routine to be. And there was something in the air. You experienced this before. Maybe not as strong as last time, but you can smell winds of change happening. You can smell like a transition happening, not literally, but figuratively. You're catching this, and that impacts you as you're awakening that morning. And you carry it with you throughout the day. I imagine Mortifer, Mortifer's the kind of person that burns bright. You know what I mean? He's the kind of person that when he gets angry, it's loud. This sends you in like a seething, like a cool burn, as you can feel that almost leveling your minds throughout the day. Shashik, you that morning wake up and you experience nothing like that. You don't catch winds of this whatsoever. However, all at once, about an hour and 15 before Einar shows up there, you're throwing your temper tantrum, you're doing your thing, you're throwing your daggers, you're kicking the wall, you're flipping out, you're cursing a whole bunch, whacking off, whatever you got to do to try to like keep calm.
It's a little of all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you are blasted. Your senses are overwhelmed, like literally like knocks you sideways. You actually get woozy, dizzy, because the amount of fear that you can smell, literally smell, the amount of fear that you can just feel of others, sending every hair on your body. And there's not much, let's be serious. I mean, it got burned away by the sun. Standing on end. I mean, it is an overwhelming amount that happens. And then that amount of fear drops just as quickly as it came, lingering only for a few moments.
Which changes things.
So you
Which means when he comes in and laughs, I would probably walk up, not saying anything, but just clearly like expecting him to explain, because Einar has always explained everything and is just sort of waiting.
Well, you can see like a cold sweat like dripping from my face as I have like the crazy eyes, as I'm kind of like leaning on on the wall, and just like laughing hysterically. I do not in this moment. I do not appear sane.
Mortifer's not even going to turn to face. He's just kind of like trembling. You can't tell why, but he's kind of like facing away and just kind of trembling a little bit. And you can see the grip on his maul like very tight.
In which case, I imagine time passes.
All right, yeah, time passes. I mean, so you just like kind of let me calm down. No one interacts with me directly.
Apparently not. Apparently, they're all just kind of like, Einar's the kind of person that doesn't break very easily. We're gonna wait until he gets his shit together. I think that's what it sounds like.
Well, so after a while, like I catch my breath and I begin like panting slightly as like the energy has exhausted me slightly, it fatigued me slightly, mechanically, and
Sorry.
not exhausted. That's ridiculous. And so after that, I catch my breath and I look back to the other two who I see are like waiting for me. And as I kind of glance back, I say, well, it's done.
What's done? There's a concept in language called context. You can't just say it. It could be any number of things.
I'm sorry, Ollie actually yells at me for this real life all the time. That's a practice speech. Go ahead, Dave.
As long as there's fiction, there's going to be people who talk like that.
I yelled at him about it today.
Quit it.
At least once a week.
No, I'll turn back and I'll try to like straighten myself up, but you can see that like I look like shaken and my hand like shakes slightly as I try to steady myself. As I look back and I say, the thing that I didn't want you, the thing that you two were down here for, the thing that I didn't want you getting caught up in. Thousands of people were just killed in the city in an instant.
And it's your bosses who did that, I assume?
I nod kind of weakly.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, I've been telling Morty every, couple of days that we should just leave. Go to that city of trees you've been bitching about.
Yeah, like in response to that, like I kind of like gird myself, like I literally grab my hand, like stop it from shaking, and I say, "I think we have come a little bit too far for that now." So,
Mortifer's gonna spin, and he's gonna slam his hammer about as hard as he can on the ground, and just almost look at you with like mad eyes. So that's it then. The dead are now taking over the living while we stay locked away, aiding them. Mortifer said many times, what's dead should stay dead. And now we serve them, while my kills are coming back to haunt us.
I look up at you weakly, even though like you're shouting with so much energy. Well, your confinement is done. Now
It's time to undo what we've done.
There's no way you can kill one of those things. They're not.
Mortifer would rather try than spend another day here.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I like living. I really like living. I like being alive. It's really nice.
You can tell just by looking at him, he's not having his best day. He's not in very good alignment today.
For those that don't recall, from the beginning of season 1, Mortifer is a half giant. Half giants in Dark Sun have the ability to alter their one aspect of their alignment. So let's say they're always good. Their law to chaos can change. Let's say they're always chaotic. Their good to evil can change. That kind of a thing. Mortifer happens to be able to have the ability to alter one of those axes. We won't worry about which one. Go ahead.
So, I say, well, I was promised change. It's what change looks like. I say kind of like obstinately, even though you are very frightening right now.
Mortifer will actually come over and like try to restrain himself, but he's clearly like aiming to grab you by the neck, but he somehow stops himself. All of the talking we did prior to coming to this castle, undone. Mortifer's time has been wasted. Time he could have been earning his freedom the way he wanted to, so that we could serve the dead. To what end, Einar? Where do we go from here? When do they sacrifice us? Mortifer will not go down to the dead. He will put them back down first.
Well, I kind of like gulp, like as you kind of like are towering over me, but I try to meet your gaze, and I say, well, they wish to speak to us, and I suppose Mortifer, you can judge what you'll do from here on based on what they say.
Perhaps Mortifer should not attend this meeting, for Shashok wishes to live.
Look, mate, if you're gonna go down swinging, I'm gonna join you. But I'm not gonna.
Where is Jack, Einar? And with that, he actually will turn and kind of like pick Einar up and just pin him. Where is Jack?
God, do I know this information?
You do not. You just know that he has been with one of the peoples by the name of Sarai, but you don't. Oh, sorry, Saria, but you don't know where that is or what he's doing.
What these? Do I just refer to these guys as champions? Like, what are they? What are we like referring to them colloquially?
So you are actually you're supposed to refer to them to the leader one. Technically speaking, they're all supposed to be referred to as master, but because of the dynamic, your relationship with them, you actually only refer to the leader one, the one whose name is Herrick Kadar. You refer to him as master. The other ones you actually refer to by their first names. However, if you were going to refer to them beyond that as a group, you would call them the champions. So,
yeah. Well, so as I get back up, like I go, ugh, and I say, one of the champions has take quite a liking to him, and think he to her. He's with her now. Oh, and I say, like, you know, very clearly, of his own volition.
Mortifer will hold his weapon until Jack is back, but do not expect me to hold it much longer after that. For Mortifer does not agree with serving the dead, for again, what's dead should stay dead. And kind of let you go and back off. You can tell he's very, very barely restraining his rage.
Well, let's. Will you at least agree to hear them out?
If Mortifer's options are listen or stay here, perhaps listening will at least get us closer to finding Jack.
Would have been much happier listening to him around 2 weeks ago.
Or knowing we needed to listen before we even came here, Einar.
So like, I guess because, you know, like as like the tensions rise again. I did not know exactly what we were all getting ourselves into, but I told you it would be dramatic. I'm speaking softly now, but it's like I told you. I was like, I say it louder. Like, it's like I didn't know exactly what we were getting into, but I knew it would be dramatic. This is dramatic. This is what world change looks like, and you have an opportunity to be a part of it.
This is throwing life away to the dead. Change happens to Mortifer's maul, not to the already lost.
You are an effective weapon, Mortifer. If they have a need of you, I'm sure it is something that will use your skills well and allow you to get the kills you so desire. Just hear them out, and judge the merits of what they've done from that.
He just silently fumes.
And I look to Shashuk and I say, I would have happily let you out of here 2 weeks ago. However, I sensed something big was coming, and it was recommended that if you did not want to die, you had to stay here. I did not expect it to be this big, and at this point, I think I made the right decision. You're alive. You're well. Hear them out.
Slave or death sounds like a familiar government to me.
Well, let's then I say, like, well, as I gesture to the stairs, then let's earn our freedom. Something you know well about.
Lead the way.
And so you lead them out that stairwell.
I have a question.
Shoot.
Mortifer, do you know Ramish as a language?
He does.
Yes.
So I will actually, while we're being led, talk to you quietly in Ramish, assuming that Einar wouldn't know it, not being from Ram.
Einar does know Ramish.
But I wouldn't know that. Why would I know that?
I think he's spoken it before because you're in the city of Rim.
And I've spoken to.
I didn't know he was speaking this language the whole time. In which case, this whole
You speak giant?
Nah,
I don't think so.
Nah, I just speak useless languages apparently.
Technically,
what do you speak?
Technically, I need to pick new languages.
I just speak Common and Ramish because I thought Ramish would be at least useful now, but never mind.
If you hear random woman yells in the background, that's my wife watching the Pats game.
Sport.
Yeah, she's a huge diehard Patriots fan. It hurts a little playing. Well, yeah, who am I kidding? I'd rather play D&D than watch the Pats, and I love the Pats. So you listen. You have to choose your nerdiness. This trumps, like, by far. So
and this is a makeup session too. That's passion.
Honestly, now that I think about it, Shashik would probably speak to Mortifer anyway, in that kind of like whispery way. I just remember that he has negative wisdom, and like a couple of steps back, like make sure he goes a little steps behind Einar.
I've got good wisdom.
Yeah, but I have bad wisdom, so I'm going to start talking.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought you were saying Mortifer had low wisdom.
No. I'm
intellect and charisma. but I've got some wisdom.
And I'll just sort of say to him, like, remember when we tried to go in? Someone mind linked us. Someone out there wants this all stopped. Someone out there that we can find. Think about it.
We need to find Jack first. Mortimer will not risk getting him killed, despite wanting to kill everything.
He'll nod, and then we'll keep, like, go back up to where Einar is and keep following.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jack. Mortimer will like mumble under his breath. Jack still needs to witness Mortimer killing a Templar.
So you make your way through the doorway up and go to stand before the one that all of you are meant to refer to as master. This isn't something that Einar has to tell you. This is something that you were informed before. You know what I mean? And I imagine that doesn't bother any of your characters because all of you have had to do that many times before for one reason or another. So, no, Shashik?
Shashik would have never had a master.
But I thought you paid her pretty well to make you call her master.
See, that's a different thing altogether.
Except for one reason or another. So,
yeah, all right. You know what? You redeemed yourself.
And when you go up there, the various champions, and like I said, there's 10 of them in total, including the leader. The various champions it's not like they all stand around, hugging each other. They're actually very busy people. They're busybodies. All have their own tasks that they're working on fairly consistently. A question that Einar might even have is whether or not they sleep. He wouldn't even know. He certainly has never witnessed it. But either way, he's just an inquisitive person. So the leader of them, the actual leader, his name, and again, I'll repeat it because Einar knows this. The other two wouldn't have had an opportunity to learn it until now. It's actually Herrick Kedar. Now, the other 9, they all have different names. I'm not going to list them out now because it's not, point to. But each one of them have the last name or have the surname of Umbra. And that's because of their station and where they're from. But we'll put that aside. When you go to meet with Herrick, or the master, you find him, as I said beforehand, sitting on the throne that had once belonged to the Sorcerer's Queen. He's sitting there, and he's holding the orb before him. But it's not like he's sitting there and lean forward contemplating it. He has one hand holding the orb out, and the other is held above it, and he seems to be mumbling something to himself. And as he does so, you can see, when I say you, Einar can see the manipulation of the dark energy that's kind of coming out of the orb and going back in based off how it is he's moving his hands. The energy that you see is kind of taking shapes, though not shapes that you can really make out like their significance, but shapes that you can see are intended. He's designing them into purposeful designs, then throwing them back in and pulling them out again into different designs and so on and so forth. He seems to be working on something. When you come into the chamber, you know not to interrupt him while he's concentrating, and so you're stuck standing there. I don't know how well Shashik or Mortimer are comfortable with this, but you're stuck standing there for a couple of minutes waiting for him to finish before you would say anything.
Mortimer's wise enough to know that if he starts to say anything or do anything, he'll lose control. So he's just keeping it together right now, like he said he would.
Okay. Finally, when he's done working on what he is, and he's has the orb out, he's holding the orb out in front of him. He takes his second hand, places it on top of the orb, and then while chanting something to himself, compresses his hands together and brings the orb down to about the size of a golf ball. And he puts that into a pouch at his side. He sits up straight in his chair, and he says, "I have summoned you before me. You have a task. I don't accept failures. The Templars that were continuing their practice falsely to a false god have held up fairly well in that god's temple. They have an old ritual, old magics they're using to stop us from being able to enter that temple. The one that maintains that ritual that maintains that ward has recently left, has gone into the city. He's, of course, being guarded by other Templars. There are 7 Templars in total. They all need to be dead.
And with that, he finishes. I kind of glance nervously at like specifically Mortifer, and then
You can't really read him. He looks torn. That's all he's kind of good. He looks like his eyes are kind of darting.
So like I take a step forward, suggest I'm about to like say something, and you guys knowing me and knowing like the situation, know I'm about to agree. You can say almost the reason I take almost like a slow step forward to give you guys a chance to like interrupt. Does anyone say anything before I step forward?
No.
All right. So I step forward and I say, just nodding my head slightly, and I just say, it's like, it'll be done. Where is this place?
They're maintaining their feud with the other factions that have found their own holes in the city. They've actually joined up with another group of Templars that also happen to be using a Temple of Badna. Go to that Temple of Badna. It's not far from this area. They're held up there. All 7 of the ones that came from Badna's temple over here on the hill, all of them need to be dead. As I said, I do not tolerate failure, and failure has only one punishment. But success is also rewarded. Go.
Turn and leave. Don't go what the others do.
Yep. I repeat myself. It'll be done, and turn and begin walking away briskly.
And so
I follow behind, but I think I try to catch Shashuk's eye and just like...
Shashuk's eye is like a bit weird because it's like a mix of like fear and annoyance, but Shashuk has never looked scared any time you've ever seen him before, not even slightly. So, yeah.
That's all.
okay, you guys make your way out of the temple. The location that he referred to actually stands kind of obvious in your characters' minds. Even the small faction of Templars that are referred to.
Is this the faction that was trying to summon the Sorcerer's Queen, or is this the faction that was still devoted to the goddess that was in the castle?
There are so many Templar factions. I'm gladly...
The ones who drained our blood.
I'll gladly parse through them for you. There's 3 of note. While there are others that have existed, they're all kind of banding together now with the shockwave of what had happened over the past 2.5 weeks, and certainly what's happened this morning. We're going to get to that, how that plays out in a moment. But the 3 that are really of note are the one that was in worship of Badna and still had their powers, which is like, holy hell, how did that happen? And they were controlling much of the temple that you were, much of the castle that you are now in that was taken from them, and have been pushed back to the grand Temple of Badna, her personal Temple of Badna that exists on Queen's Hill. That's where they're pushed back to. The second faction was the one that was taking your blood in an attempt to resurrect her. That was actually a fairly decent sized faction as well. Not as large as the one that we were mentioning beforehand, but fairly decent sized as well. They're over on like the outer rim of, the mid rim of the wealthy district of this neighborhood, over near where like that wealthy family, over near where their region was. And then there was a third faction, which was actually teeny tiny, teensy weensy, that had a different idea. They're the ones that wanted to make this city more like the other city-states. Sorry, more like the other city-state. What's the name of that city? My apologies. Tyr. More or less make people rule the city instead of having someone domineering over them. The ones that you guys actually got along with. That's the faction whose home I'm referring to them being held up in, apparently, because of what has transpired recently. The big one that had worship of Badna and the small one that was pretending to worship Badna while others would be afraid of them even though they didn't have powers are currently working together.
So the big faction that we have to kill the 7 people for are actually Templars we've never interacted with before, whereas we interacted with the other 2 factions.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. And then, like I said,
they're in the place where we've been before, not where we had our blood draw, but where I kicked over something and ran away.
correct, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
And just to add a 4th faction of Templars, the others. Okay. They don't matter. It's just the others. All right.
Cool. So we went nowhere to go, and that's good.
So A, B, and C. A for atheists, B for blood, and C for cult. Okay.
But
That's how
it was 1, 2, 3. But now they're not the same order.
Nope.
Why are you making it harder to understand instead of easier?
Because I love watching Ollie squirm.
I just hate being in your games
You're welcome.
so much.
No, so anyways, so you guys know exactly where that temple is, and you know exactly how to get there. But I imagine you want to have some conversations with one another on the way there, and a plan you want to come up with on the way. But before you come up with that plan, why don't we take our first break, and we'll come back and see how that plays out. So everybody, go do what you got to do. We'll see you in a few minutes.
All right, see you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Lost Initiative Dark Sun Season 2, Episode 1, Part 2. Wow, that's going to get longer and longer. You guys are leaving the castle, having been given a task before you. The task of finding 7 Templars, 7 very specific Templars, hunting them down and killing them. I don't know if this is fortunate or unfortunate for you, but the location of them currently is the home of some allies, or at least allies as of a few weeks ago. It took you a while from the last time you met them to even get into the castle and to the vault, and it's been 2.5 weeks since then. So it's been very little contact, and in a city like this, in the condition it's currently in, you were probably presumed dead. So we'll see how that plays out. You guys leave the castle and start heading in that direction.
So I imagine like there would be conversation unless you guys just silently follow me.
No, there'd definitely be conversation.
There will be conversation. I just want to be clear that the conversation doesn't start while you're still in the Queen's Hill. And this is the region where you had the sand sharks and you were on the door that was floating and going across. But of course,
I rolled 2 nat 20s that day. That was a good day.
It was a good day. You have safe passage walking through this region out of the Queen's Hill, which is that region of the city, and into the region beyond where there's a lot more chaos that exists. Will the conversation happen while you're still in this inner safe region, or the region after that, where you'll more or less be coming out and very close to the hole? Like, do you start conversation as soon as you walk out of the castle, or do you wait a while?
Oh, I mean, I have an idea of what I want to say, but I want to see how. I mean, the tension's mostly coming from those guys, so I want to see if they say anything first.
So Mortifer would wait until we're far enough away where I wouldn't expect there to be any champions walking around or about.
None of them are going to be outside of the castle, just meandering about. So we'll say it's still like partway through the walk for the Queen's Hill to the region beyond. Please go ahead, whoever's starting up.
So, the Templars are the last hurdle for these undead. Mortifer does not know which side he would choose.
I mean, they're practically the same for all intents and purposes. Aside from these champions are defilers, which means gonna kill us everyone, but that's fine.
Champions are not defilers. They're not undead. They're not monsters. They are once people. They are people.
All undead were once people.
Not all.
Well, they are to Mortifer.
Right.
Mortifer did not fight to break out to become a slave again.
Mortifer, you might not understand this because you lived a very hard, fast life. However, when you get to my age, when you start getting older, you start to like think about life in a big picture. And the big picture I ask to you is, what do you want out of life? What did you hope for?
500 kills.
And then what? So you get your 500 kills, you get your freedom. Then what? What do you do then?
Mortifer doesn't think that far ahead. Mortifer did once. And Mortifer's family and friends. Mortifer will get 500 kills and then figure it out.
Yes, well, you will have your opportunity to get those 500 kills. It seems like you care about for whom you serve as you get them.
What's dead should stay dead. Whether it be summoned by Templars or by our hand. What stops these undead from killing us if we don't kill them first?
Because I turn to him because even though you might not believe this, but these creatures, these undead as you call them, I am blood related to them. The reason they have treated me so differently and the reason I've been on this quest is because I have sought them out as a blood oath to protect.
So your family gets to come back, and why is this?
Because I willed it. I made this happen. And and I step for him. So I ask you, what is your big picture? What do you want, Mortifer? Do you want to bring your family back? Then make it happen.
Mortifer would not bring them back.
Then what do you?
I accept their death as I accept the death of those I have killed. And Mortifer, when his time comes, I will accept my own death. For that is the natural order of things. In this world we fight until we fail. And that's the end.
Well, I can only promise you one thing, is that you follow me, you follow them, and during that path you will make something of yourself. You will gain the power you need to fight the greatest foes possible. Rather than just making your own way, you have a path to greatness. There's a path that I sought and found, and now I'm walking. It is a hard path that I found out today, but it's one that I have decided to walk, no matter what happens. And
I felt the death today, Einar. How were those people slain? Was it honorable?
I imagine right as you ask that question, you're kind of walking out of the, almost like punctuate the point. You're walking out of the walls, the doorway that leads from the Templars district beyond, and the Templars Quarter. My apologies, and the Queen's Hill. So you're stepping through the passageway, the archway of the city wall, and the area around where you guys are is quiet. It's very, very, very quiet. You know, Einar, immediately to your right, if you were to turn and travel that way for a short distance, you'd find where what had transpired this morning, is. This is, my apologies, the location right there. Very short walk. It's not exactly out of your way either, for where it is that you're heading. But it does catch everybody, the silence of the city, at least as of right now, as of this location.
So kind of like punctuating that when like we walk, we see the silence. When we hear the silence, I will kind of like stop to like listen for a moment, then turn to Mortifer. No, it was not honorable.
How many families died to bring yours back, Einar? Is that the price we're all willing to pay for your family? Why can you not just accept their death? It's because you're old and fear your own?
Because I want to do something with this old body before it passes.
You fought honorably alongside Mortifer. Why not continue with that? That was doing something. This massacre. You say it's not honorable, and yet you go along with it.
I have no concern with honor. I chose a path and I'm walking it. I knew what the cost was when I took it.
We did not know the cost, Einar. You chose it for us.
And you didn't tell us a damn shit worth of fucking things.
I looked at Ashok. It's like, because you never asked. Would you have asked?
I constantly asked. You were all mysterious. We were working for some elf who I thought was relevant, who is probably dead.
Yeah, it's probably dead.
And then it turns out that you knew more all along. And then you're like, oh, don't worry about it. Oh, it will all be revealed.
I do clear my throat. Like, there is like this moment, like, you got me, and I'm just like, I do not know exactly what was to transpire. I was prepared for it. And I attempted to prepare you for it. However, apparently we have different definitions of change the world.
What's the end game?
I pause for a moment, and that's exactly what we're talking about. Make something of ourselves, something worth more than what we were before.
What? Suck the life out of the people to stay alive forever? There's no honor in that life. And if honor means nothing to you, then perhaps your life means nothing.
We got Templars to kill. I kind of want to, you know, have a right mind for it, because even with or without their magic, they're horrible, well-trained knights that execute people for fun. So, can we put a pin in this whole argument thing? And just focus on the murder that we have to do?
If Mortifer knew Jack was safe, Mortifer may even side with the Templars, but Mortifer has no choice but to go along with this for now. Albeit, not happily.
Shasha could like pat Mortifer's leg and then just keep walking.
He angrily says happily, thinking that's the right way to say it.
I'll look at so I'll call after like Shasha, because like, you know, he goes forward, I follow him. It's like, well, regardless of your trepidations, you seem to be adjusting better. To Shasha.
Crazy, magical people who were dead and now are not dead. Yeah, I'm gonna do what they say, because otherwise I'm gonna be turned into a frog or something. I'm not doing this because I like you, Einar. I'm doing this because I like me. And I like Mortifer. And I will be honest with you right now. And I am not often a very honest man. That when it comes to him or you, I'm leaving you in the gutter. Okay? Just so we're clear.
So I think we can officially assume your bodyguard contract is complete.
You got where you wanted to go, Einar. And he'll like smack you in the chest a little too hard.
Well, hopefully the rewards of what's to come will change your minds.
I'm an easy to convince man. He'll like kind of like walk with a skip in his step, ignoring the death.
Mortifer is not easy. Like slams his hammer down.
The important question here is, because any of you could lead the way there, only Einar knows where what had transpired this morning was. Do you guys choose to go the way? Einar, you could easily direct one way or the other. Do you choose to go around the way of the hole, or do you choose to go around another way to avoid it?
Avoid it if possible. That's
if it's not the easy, if we're not going the easiest, fastest way there, I will change.
You've always avoided it before because you were told don't go anywhere near there. It's
yeah, well, exactly, right? So yeah, if it's easier, if I would know to avoid it, I would keep avoiding it.
Okay. So so you guys just avoid around that way, not a problem, and find your way easily over to the region where you were before. Where the Templars are. Now, as you're walking away, as I had said, the whole area at first was very quiet. That whole first part of the city as you're walking through it is just completely quiet. Eventually, you start to hear noises of people about, but they're not noises of people that are like fighting or arguing or scurrying about or so on and so forth. Everybody that you hear or see is inside of a home and looking out and like peering and watching. You can literally feel, after the first couple of eyes, and you get to where it's more densely populated, almost about to the point where you finally need to get to the temple, literally all around you, everywhere you look, you see heads in windows or doorways or on top of roofs or the like. Roofs less often. You know, I know you guys have gone up there before, but it leaves you completely exposed to the sun. Alleyways, so on and so forth, just watching. You're the only ones openly walking down the street. And it's just because of the nature of who you are, you walk very, conspicuously down the street. You got that like, don't fuck with me kind of energy to you. You know what I mean? So, anyways, you are walking down the streets and making your way to the temple, and you notice all the people kind of like peering after you. I imagine you guys don't say or.
Oh, I absolutely say that. I never would have thought Ram would be this quiet. So at least, your champions have really cracked down on public disorder.
And if there's no response, eventually...
Mortifer will just walk a little heavier. You'll hear his foot hit the ground a little harder as he moves.
Oh, someone's getting bone spurs. And you make your way to the actual temple itself, the one we were at beforehand. Very well maintained on the outside. Though, when you get there, you notice something slightly different about the temple. There's no guards outside of it, though there usually weren't before, aside from a few circumstances where a thing here or there was happening. But on the actual temple door itself, there's some sort of rune drawn on in some sort of material. You don't know what liquid has dried to make this rune on the door. And you guys see it sitting there.
So there's okay.
Historically, those are bad things.
Well, I'll say is like that as I gesture to it, is like that must be what's keeping that's protecting this place from the champions.
Perhaps we should leave it, though your own family threatened us death upon failure.
Reminder: this is where you're finding the Templars, not the one that is housing that has like the huge wards on it. So many Templar factions; it's so hard to keep track.
Well, so I'll pause for a moment as you say something like that. All right, this has to be said. We have to be on the same page of this. Are you actually going to carry out this mission? I intend to. If not, then I suggest you leave the city.
Mortifer has already said until he knows where Jack is, he will play this game.
Well, it's not going to be a game. There's 7 Templar in there. So is your head in the game?
Mortifer hasn't lost a fight yet.
Yes, but I don't think Mortifer has been in this particular situation. So I ask again, are you going to be able to do this? Because I don't think you're going to be able to wish-wash. You're going to have to
Do not question Mortifer's ability to fight.
And there goes the element of surprise.
Mortifer is ready. And Mortifer will be ready to send the dead back one day too.
At this point, whether you keep talking or not, Shashrik's going to climb the building. Just kind of skitter.
So you've been in there before. You're saying you're climbing the building. Again, it's a temple. So it's, comprised of actual stone. It's very well maintained on the outside. So it's not like it's a super easy thing to climb up.
If anything, a temple would be easier because usually they're fancier.
Layered and all that stuff. In a typical setting, in a typical world, that might be the case.
But this is just a horrible cube.
Not completely. Don't worry. You can climb it. It's just not going to be a super low DC. It's just a DC that's you're good. Don't worry, Ollie. So just describe it, because of the fact that this is Dark Sun and everything's about functionality over fashion, and that includes these temples that existed around the city as well. It was really difficult beyond ridiculous things like the Alabaster Tower. It was really difficult to get people to have skills to construct well, and then certainly to get them to do it. You know what I mean? So anyways, the temple on the outside is very well maintained, but as far as you remember from when you were here beforehand, the temple on the inside is like completely torn up, thrown apart, walls knocked out. It's like one big, huge open room. There is lights that comes in here through the stained glass windows that were about, because they did actually have stained glass. The roof, you don't have to worry about rain. So the roof isn't like some big pitched roof by any stretch. It's actually a domed roof. We never really had to describe that before. I think I did describe it when you were in there before.
I seem to remember there being a domed roof, and there may have been glass on the roof in some parts, which is why I went to climb it in my mind.
And because that's where the light would come in, right?
Yeah.
But a dome roof makes more sense when you're dealing with a desert, right? So so you would be able to clamber up there if you would like. Make a check, whatever you want. What does other people want to do?
What did you say is blocking the door in front of the door?
Ollie, I'm sorry, 1 second. And if you would like, Mortifer can also give you a leg up.
Nah, they're still talking.
Okay.
Whether there's going to be an awkward silence or not, kind of just to punctuate that Shashrik is bored of this conversation, even
Are
though
you
it's an
obviously
important.
like leaving, or are you like sneakily?
I would like you're having this conversation in front of the door. I turn
We're
around.
not right in front of the door. I thought we.
As close as we are, because we can see the rune on the door. I just turn around, jump on top of something, and gracelessly skitter my way up.
Graciously but successfully.
Oh no, yeah, he's good at it because he doesn't try to look like he's good at it.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna do no flips or act like nah. It's painful. It's ugly.
So,
You're like downplaying a 22 by a lot. Like, it's like I just.
No, I'm
barely-
describing how he does it.
Oh, okay.
Listen, Dave, he's just playing up when he rolls a 2.
Jeez.
Shashak knows what he's doing. It doesn't mean that he climbs like he's got spider climb.
He doesn't have J.J. Abrams, yelling
Yeah.
at the camera to shake more as he's doing the task. He's just getting it done. So, Wade, you had asked me a question. What was it?
There's a rune on the door, is what you said.
Correct. Again, you guys saw the rune. You haven't inspected or anything like that yet, and you know that it was clearly marked on there by the way that the stroke was put on there. You can tell that it was a liquid at some point in time that was put on there. That's obviously dried. Things dry very quickly here, anyways. But you don't have no idea what the liquid was. The door itself is made of stone. We had described that ages ago. The color of the marking on the door is like a brownish green.
Okay. As soon as like Dave and I are having the heated discussion, or Einar and Mortifer are having the heated discussion, as soon as Shashuk goes, Mortifer kind of would get this like even crazier look in his eye, and just, it's time to stop our bickering for now. He's gonna get all the kills if we don't get in there.
I kind of actually like can't help myself but like laugh. I'm like, it's like Mortifer, don't worry about it. You will get the kills that you require.
So the door itself, just as a reminder, because the inside, as I said, it's stone. Typically speaking, temples don't have big locks on them. Like they're barring situation, whatever. You don't have to like protect the temple. Like especially in a city like this, where there was a forced religion to this faith under the Sorceress Queen. There never would have been locks beforehand because again, everything's punishable by torture or death. So. But you did see that they had at one point in time put up like the brackets to hold a slab across the way to hold it up, as like the lock that they have there, and they actually had a wooden beam that went through. I mean, wood is uncommon, but it's not ultra rare, so it's a wooden beam across. Wade, you know that for Mortifer to break through this door, it's not going to be easy. Certainly going to be a strength check of a decent DC. For you, what that DC is, we'll find out. But it's not going to be an easy task.
I think I'd let Einar look at the lock first to see if he.
Well, it's a matter of fact. Shashuk didn't say anything before he jumped over. Like my hope is what Shashuk is doing is that like at least he can just get some reconnaissance. So like my original thought is just to like let Shashuk do what he is gonna do. And hopefully he'll come out with information unless he just disappears inside. I want to see if he's actually like heads in or if he's just going to look in and like if there is a place to look in. Is there a place to look in?
So as we were describing beforehand, it's made out of stone and the domed roof. And then just because like the way the walls go up and you just kind of instantly go into the dome overhead, there's glass that's up in that roof area. Some spots where it's kind of on the wall going up, some spots where it's actually the roof where it has the stained glass. Certainly not the entire ceiling is glass that allow the light in for people to see. And so Shashuk would be allowed to see inside there.
Okay.
How high up is the roof?
So the temple...
Like how high up is the dome?
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to remember. It's larger than a typical building. So it's about 20 feet is the beginning of the roof. And then because it's a dome, it goes up like another 7-8 feet if you were standing at the very, very tippy top of it.
Okay. So I suppose we are holding for.
Yeah, I think we do not move closer. Like we find a not like a place to like sneakily hide, but just kind of go a place off away where we can just kind of keep an eye on generally where Shashuk is going, and he can see where we are, so he can look and hopefully gather information and deliver it back.
Awesome. So Shashuk, since they're more or less standing, it's not like they're standing in front of the door. Right, like let's just stand here conspicuously in front of the door. They're standing, across the way, but very close. We're talking easily within 30 feet of the door.
Oh, yeah.
And they're the only ones in the streets at the moment. So as you're making your way, looping up, you were trying to get to the roof, but would you have looked at windows along the way, or wait till you were secured on the roof first before you went
Roof
poking
first.
up? Okay, so you get up to the roof. As I had stated beforehand, it is a domed roof. The dome itself is also comprised of stone, but it also has a little bit of like a slate put on top of that as well, like a clay slate put on top of it as well. It's not well maintained anymore for a long time, so there are many like blank patches because those things fall off relatively easily if they're not maintained well. That these slates exist to try to help keep some of the heat off of the actual roof, so it stays cooler in there, right? So when you loop up with your very high check, you easily clamber up into a spot where there's no slates immediately around you. The reason why I bring them up is because nobody's going to hear you walking on a stone roof. However, if you lack a certain degree of nimbleness, you might knock a slate free.
Mm-hmm.
So you're on the roof, and you start making your way over to, say, the first window to look in and peek around what you see. So could you make for me, is acrobatics a thing in Pathfinder?
Yes.
Okay, make me an acrobatics check to make your way across the roof.
Hey.
Wow. This is Ollie's day. So you, Ollie, you easily get over there. I mean, it's just, you succeeded. When you get to the other side, you are easily able to look into the window. Now, I'm going to have you make a perception check. What's your modifier for stealth?
10.
Okay, you don't have to roll a stealth check. You just automatically succeed. So for somebody to not notice your head poking in, right? Make me a perception check to actually look in.
Yeah, I was going to level it up, but I actually decided to make my perception slightly not as bad. It's still pretty bad.
So that's actually not a bad roll for looking in a window and seeing things. Unfortunately, the DC is a bit higher because you're outside in daylight where it's super bright in a desert, and you're looking through tinted glass, trying to see a darker area. It's very, very difficult for you to do. Unfortunately, your first window you go over to, you try to peek in. It's a combination of the dirt and the tint and all that stuff. You don't think you can get a good angle. You can't really see in.
So riddle me this, DM man.
Please.
Does it look like these glass panels are removable?
So stained glass, the way it's generally made is but my apologies.
Metal fixings, right?
Metal fixings typically, but metal is again ultra rare in this world. So that's not how it is. So these panes are separated actually by bits of like hardened wood, like treated wood to almost like petrify it and make it so it's good enough to get the job done. You know what I mean? So removable, yes, but it takes a little effort.
Oh, that's fine. Cool. That's so. Even though I got bad roll, is there? You described it before as being essentially one big room.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if you drop down from the roof, would you just go straight down to the bottom?
Wait, if you say that one more time, my apologies.
You described the temple before as
the
being
last part.
one large room.
Yeah.
If we were to remove the plane of glass and drop down, would we just fall straight into that room?
Yeah. And realistically, if you're even if you're on the roof itself, even though the dome goes up a bit, it's only a 20-foot drop. It's not like it's anything crazy. And in case you're not aware, Ollie, you can make acrobatics checks to reduce the damage of that. Yeah,
I was not aware of that.
A DC 15 reduces it by 10 feet, or 1d6. And then a DC, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, 25 reduces it by the additional 10 feet.
Yes.
You could also plan your drop down too by doing a jump or athletics check or whatever it is first. That also would reduce it. So you can be smart with your drop.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if that's all I see, I guess I would go over to the edge and find them and just kind of like motion for them to come up.
Wade, how tall are you again?
Good question. 11'7" I think. Yeah, 11'7".
So you're half the height of the building, just over half the height of the building. If you were to climb up there, it would be seen.
I don't care.
It would be heard. It would be noticed.
I don't get to roll a stealth check with my -8 modifier.
You most certainly can. Absolutely. But we know how that's
knowing that Mortifer is not the most stealthy character, he knows that because he's failed. I think every time we've tried to be quiet with him.
Unfortunately.
We're at the point now where we're entering the zone where he knows he'll have to fight. So even though he's pissed off, he still knows that he has to work with Einar and Shashuk here. So he'll look at Einar and see if Einar wants him to basically blow their cover knowingly.
So it looks like Shashuk's about to enter the building.
No.
He's calling you up.
I called you up instead.
Hey.
Oh, called us to go into the up on top of the roof.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I look over. I'm like, looks like this is the plan.
And if it looks like Mortifer isn't trying to climb, he's like, come on, just.
So,
Mortifer.
this is like we're about to jump into combat here, right?
Yeah.
So, because Mortifer is not the most graceful acrobat in the world, I think if you guys are like, well, this is what we're gonna do, he's just gonna go ahead and expand now.
Oh, I love it. Okay, how tall does that make you again?
Like 23 or 24 feet.
Is it 50%? No, it's double height, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
double height.
Yeah. So you're 11 and change, so it breaks you like 23 feet, which is
And
awesome.
yeah.
So now
if we're not
you're
in combat
actual.
yet-
You're like the top of your head, like you can literally see the roof with where you are right now, how tall you are. You're just like, hey.
Shashuk grins a lot, and he kind of points. He's like, punch in that dome.
Boring question here. I'm going to use expansion, which costs, I think, 1 power point. How much vigor can I cast on myself?
Yeah, if you spend a moment before you expand, like you vigor first. Your level is what, Wade?
5.
And because of your ability, you can increase it by effectively 2. 7 times 5, 35 XP. Sorry, health points. You spend 7, you have 35.
If he says smash the dome, and I'm like, I would also cast vigor on myself. Like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, so
You can spend 7 to get 35, or any degree less than that.
okay, so I need to spend 8 if I'm going to expand cast max vigor.
Correct. Now, for those of you that might be familiar with Pathfinder, usually you can't use PowerPoints above your level, but some classes have certain features where 1 or 2 abilities you can. Mortifer has that. Go ahead, Wade.
Like I'm gonna cast vigor as well, but I cannot
No.
bring it up to 7.
I will wait until he at least starts to cast biofeedback, which is as good as I can do.
So I imagine Einar does not start clambering. Wade gets powers himself. He's like, okay, gets himself like beefed up with that. So you have 35 temp HP right now, which is ridiculous. And then you immediately afterwards expand. You see him. He points as a smash in the dome, and then you kind of like take your step back. You're not even gonna climb up. Or wait, do you try to like climb up and smash down? Because reminder, it is a temple. It is large. So even though it's only 20 feet tall, it's actually much longer than that.
I think just from where I'm at, I'm just going to smash. I mean, if my head's already up there, I'm just going to smash straight down. And if the wall comes down with the dome, easier for me to get in.
So from standing on the ground, you smash in, not from climbing up, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't sure if you're smashing between your legs or like over your head. Okay.
No, because I feel like if I tried to do that, I would just end up falling in.
Okay.
I also summon my heavy armor. Jesus.
You see him take a step back, brace himself,
You're
and
gonna
you're
see him
like,
expanding and stuff, so you're gonna know what he's doing.
Launch an arrow.
Yeah, you guys both know what's coming.
oh god, this is gonna be awesome. Okay, so you brace yourself, you take your step back. Einar, concentrates for a second. A bunch of wispy, milky white tendrils come appearing out of almost nowhere, and or effectively nowhere, literally nowhere. And wrap around his body, making full plate armor out of that milky white material. And then that's very hardened. And Mortifer, it's gonna be a break DC. Because you're just standing still. The way it works is, let's see, you're gonna roll a d20. You're gonna add your strength modifier, which is currently a +6 because you just got a big boy. You get an additional +2 for being large, an additional +2 for now being huge. So that's 6, 10. An additional +2 for being a half giant. Gate Crasher is a feature of yours. So unless there's anything else I can think of, you have a +12 to this roll.
Okay, the modifier. Okay, so I'll just add plus. I'll just roll d20 while I add +12. That's fine.
Yep, you just /roll d20 +12. Yep.
Is that space +12 or +12 connected?
Connected. The only space is between roll and 1d20.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh!
So he
pissed.
crashes in the dome and it falls on someone's head, right?
Oh, Mortifer's going for the
That
dome in the
screams.
wall that's blocking him. He wants in that fucking building.
Okay.
I hope there's a Templar standing underneath, because that hammer went all the way straight down.
Are you kidding me right now? Like, I was like, roll the die. It's not like you're going to get anywhere. No, you fucking broke it in. Okay. So, even breaking down an iron door is only a 28. Okay. Like, oh my God. Okay. So, you roll and you just smash the ceiling. You hit it with such might, such fury. Is this your first time using your new hammerhead?
No, technically I used it to smash open a wall.
Oh, okay. Well, you have practice, right? So
That's all I've gotten to hit with this damn thing so far are walls. No, well, did I hit the old guy in the whatever?
Doesn't matter. So you smash into this dome. Immediately chunks start falling where it is, but tendrils and cracks happen from there, and the dome itself starts collapsing and falling in on itself. Like the whole thing just starts collapsing. As a matter of fact, it's not safe to stand where you are anymore. Not only is the ground vibrating, it's disappearing beneath your feet. You're going to have to act quickly there, Ollie. What do you choose to do as your ground is disappearing between your feet?
First of all, he's laughing and whooping like a crazy person, and like jumping up and down and clapping. If while the roof is collapsing, do I see anyone down below as it's starting to fall?
Why don't you roll for me a perception check?
Please be good.
No. It's not that like you can't. There's light and everything. There's just so much debris between you and it, and dust.
Yeah.
You rolled so low that there was, but now there's not.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a giant 24-foot half giant you could jump onto.
I mean, to be fair, if you rolled a 1, they would have just not been home.
Yeah, you actually make a very valid point, Wade. Considering you're the same height, I'm gonna hop up onto your shoulder with the bow.
Okay, awesome. Just make me an acrobatics check.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Sure. So you easily, very nimbly jump off of like literally as the ground is beneath your feet, jump over onto Wade's Mortifer's shoulder. I imagine like grabbing like his ear or something like that to stabilize yourself, but like digging your nails because your nails are long and
ain't come in 2 weeks.
Right, yeah. So your nails are long, and there's a little bit of a scratch, and you get like so much earwax under your fingernails now as you like use his ear to balance yourself. And,
I just smear it on the arrowhead. Someone's getting some horrible
It's just gonna like stick to them like those little like plunger darts you get when you're a kid.
Shashik's a dirty fighter. Any bodily fluids he can are on his arrows. I actually
go down a little bit lower on Mortifer.
Do that, but I don't have the good enough survival score.
Sweat's there too.
Oh God. Okay. So let me just roll this really quickly. Just see how this plays out because you collapse the ceiling now. Because of the fact that it is a dome ceiling, once the integrity goes, pretty much the entire thing collapses. It's like 70% of the ceiling collapses. The latter half is able to.
It better count as
enough to hold
Mortifer's
itself.
kills if all 7 die to the damn building falling on them.
I mean, if Superman destroys a building, does he kill all the people it falls on?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Superman.
true.
Superman is not a good person. Batman's a good person.
Took the
Well,
fall for the
Superman-
building.
What?
Sokovia, the Avengers also took the fall
Exactly.
for their building.
Yep. So anyways, the building collapses. The ceiling collapses. It's not you. I mean, the only person that really hears the screams is Einar, and he's half deaf because he's old. And the only reason he's the only one to hear them is because he's the only one that's not immediately adjacent to the crumbling of everything coming up in their face, right? So, or their ears ringing from the shock of the impact of the actual hammer itself against the stone. So you hear some screaming from the inside of the building there, Einar. I guess we can roll initiative now. Let's see what happens when you get inside. Give me 1 second to set that up for you.
You get inside. Morpher's gonna stay outside and play whack-a-mole.
Did my hammer come down on anybody when it went through the damn building?
Oh, no. I imagine most of the force was taken out by hitting the ceiling itself. So, and then the angling of trying to like get your arms in there, because you were swinging over your head. Don't forget to highlight your token when you press initiative. I think Einar did it.
Wow.
Can I
roll a good
add,
initiative roll?
can I add that initiative somehow to?
Yeah. I just
Can.
gotta find you.
I think you have to
Yeah,
re-roll
everyone's
it
down
and
below.
Scott can change the number, right?
Yeah, if I re-roll it, I mean it'll be a different number. And I like
Right,
it.
but I think Scott can change it once you're on. Oh, he
Yep.
can add
Yeah,
you.
he can.
Oh,
he
yeah,
can just. He can just be a DM for 2 seconds.
Yep, I got you. So it's all good.
A little low key burn.
That's
If it's not a
what
burn
I
on
do.
Scott, then
Baby.
it's not a good day.
That's our relationship, man.
Pretty much.
I like it though. I like the way
He
all-
likes to be insulted constantly.
You have to understand. I am always that way to everybody else. So
It's the only way he can get off anymore.
Oof, old age is rough, huh?
Sorry, Ollie. I'm sorry that has to be.
I'm willing to help my friend however I need to. All right.
Oof.
friend in need is a friend indeed.
So Shashuk is just Ollie.
Your relationship used to be different.
Shashik had confusing feelings about Jack in those last few moments and has not had a valid time to process that.
So Mortifer, it's your turn.
Great.
I get like standing there flat-footed. Like again, this much of your face is over the roof. You know what I mean? But you can easily
How much
like,
of that roof? Like my hammer came down right there, so I imagine part of that area right in front of me had to have been broken open too.
Oh yeah. But I mean, the most the part that's immediately touching the wall would be the stronger part. Is the part like so it actually does still curve up a little bit, but you can easily like put your elbows up and like hoist up and look inside if you want. Like that's super easy. Or even put your hammer on the ground and put a foot on the hammer and step up on the head to like look inside. That's easy. So would you like to make a perception check?
Yeah, I want to try to get in there and attack. Is what I want to do.
So you don't want to perceive, you just want to clamber in?
I mean, is looking a free action?
More or less, yeah.
I got nothing to lose by trying.
I mean, Ollie knows the truth to that, but more or less, yeah.
And there's no windows, and I got a similar roll as Shashuk, so maybe I can see something with an 11.
With the angle, you just couldn't get high enough to see over that bit of roof there. There's still dust inside there and whatnot. You can't see in well enough to see if there's anybody in there.
Okay, well, I'll be climbing in anyway to try to attack.
It's a climb check. Not a very high one for you, but it's still there. Well, you start trying to climb into it, but unfortunately, it's one of those things where you
No, use your legs. No, you gotta use your back. What are you doing, man?
I like to think that Mortifer wasn't even trying to climb. He was just like, he just runs into the side of the building thinking that it's weak enough where he can just break through it at this point. It just does, nothing happens.
Have you ever, maybe you yourself or had a friend or whatever, try to climb over an actual wall, like stone wall or fence or anything that was about their height, and just watch them fail miserably? Because that's unfortunately what just happened to Mortifer. Is he just
He's
trying
not even drunk.
He's doing that like arms up and trying to get his leg out sideways and trying to pull himself up that way, but he like slips and comes back down and tries to clamber up again, and unfortunately he just looks like a fool as the ground's kind of shaking him around him a little bit, and he tries 2-3 times and just can't get in that way.
Well, if that's my maneuver, I'm still going to try to attack the wall.
Well, I mean, technically it's your... Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yep, you can still use your attack action. Go ahead, sir.
Mortifer is not having a very happy day, so he's just pissed and swinging wildly.
It's the same thing you rolled last time, that 1d20 plus 12, to try to break through the wall in front of you.
Isn't there like a fast command of just... Oh, there we go.
There's
that's
usually
not-
up, but not if you've rolled something recently.
Oh, yeah. I typed a lot of crap into here.
Yeah.
Hold on.
And unfortunately, spell cards for Pathfinder are not as easy as the ones for 5e. So, I mean, a 24 against the a stone wall in general is not like, oh my god, super amazing. But this is an area that's already had part of it broken and whatnot around it. And I imagine you start over in a spot that you know is a little bit weaker, so not by a window, you know, only one of the flat areas.
He's
just,
smashing
like,
up toward the
into it.
top where it's already weak, just so it can climb in easier next time.
Exactly. So I just went like this. I imagine it's actually full on like baseball swings at it too. And you are able to smash open the wall, like a good chunk of it. More or less, you took like 5 feet off of the wall in like a 5 foot area wide. Like not perfect, but you know, kind of curving out that way. Certainly would be a lot easier for you to climb in next time.
And does this rubble hit a Templar?
Huh?
Does this rubble hit a Templar?
It might.
He wants blood. He doesn't care how he gets it. He wants blood.
Einar, the door adjacent to you, you hear scraping against the stone, and after a few moments, you hear a thud. You guys rocks are still kind of like falling off here and there, like chunks are still falling, you know. And then there's the door itself is starting to slide and get pulled open because the door's open inwards, right? So they're starting to slide and be pulled, but clearly there's so much debris in the way, they can't open the door more than, say, like 4 or 5 inches. And so you hear, like, you know, calls to move that piece there, that one, oh, my leg, you know, as they're trying to, you know, open up the door. After that is Einar's turn.
My turn? Mm-hmm. All right, so I do something new. I overchannel.
Ooh! Oh, Dave, please describe that.
So, concentrating incredibly hard, I boost my power by actually increasing my manifestor level. At this level, I can only do it by 1, and I deal 1d8 damage to myself. I deal 5 damage to myself, increasing my manifestor level by 1. However, that allows me to summon a level 4 astral construct as I direct it over to the side. So you see my character; he kind of grimaces as there's basically a mental pain as the veins in his head bulge out as he uses all of his strength to boost his own power beyond its limits, causing physical agony as he begins summoning an astral construct level 4 over by the door.
You just Vegeta'd.
Yep.
So just so everybody knows, that 5 damage goes past temporary HP and hits your actual HP. And to put this in terms of
it hits my temporary HP, but it can't be resisted by any means. In other words, my DR wouldn't resist it, or any kind of resistance wouldn't reduce the damage.
I will read that one. I'm pretty sure it goes past the temporary HP, but I'll read it later on. We'll allow you what you're saying right now to apply, and
sure.
We can worry about that in a later session. So the other thing is, again, in layman's terms, a 4th level wizard just casts Fireball. Whoa, cool. So, Dave, your construct, describe the one that you just... Oh, no, it's because it takes a full round, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's not here yet.
Yep, sorry, 1 round. It won't be here till the beginning of the next round. So you just start, like, weaving and doing, like, as you're bulging. And, all right, after that is actually Shashuk's turn. Shashuk, you're on Mortifer's shoulder, and you actually had to go back over and, like... Mortifer has hair, right? Yes, I believe he does. He's not bald.
Yeah.
So you actually have to grab like a fistful of Mortifer's hair over by the roots, and like this hair is kind of going down your arm.
I grab the beard hair. It's a little thicker.
Okay.
Grabbing.
And hold on as he starts.
What are you trying to say?
Do this. As he starts clambering up and over and into the thing, and unfortunately just is not able to do so whatsoever. Clamber up, and you're just like holding on just barely. And then he starts clambering and smashing. Oh, good question. I will allow you to have made a perception check while he's up there. It's a slightly higher DC because of, you know.
It doesn't matter. I'm not going to make it anyway.
Unfortunately, keep rolling shit. I'm sorry, Ollie.
In which case, I do nothing with my turn.
Really?
If I can't see anyone to shoot them with my bow, I can't shoot them with my bow.
Okay.
You can prepare an action for something.
Or I forgot that prepared actions exist because they're dumb. I will prepare an action to shoot
They're
someone.
not dumb. Well, they're amazing.
They are dumb.
Oh boy.
And I will do that.
Oh boy.
Pathfinder sucks. Just,
what?
You know,
prepared actions are in 5e?
Yeah, they're in every edition.
Not in when I play them.
Well,
I do not allow them at all.
Well, that's fine. That's, you know, how you want to run the, but they're in every edition of D&D. So anyways, you move on to, so after Shashuk, who just kind of like, he waits, he prepares an action to shoot somebody that seems aggressive against him, and then it's going to be other people's turns. So You actually hear like clambering and rocks being thrown about, so on and so forth. You actually hear shouts happening because your DC 11 is enough to hear voices echoing up and coming up because it's not that far away. And you are standing on his shoulder. So you hear voices saying, "No, pull that off him. Check him. Is he? Oh, thank God he's alive." And they're helping him up, and the guy's like, "No, it's fine. Is there another way?" And the somebody else is like, "This way," and you hear like more rock shuffling and whatnot, but you can't quite see where that was that took place. After that, because unfortunately that's their whole turn, that's going to be another group of people who are coming over and also trying to help open the door. That's what they do, trying to open the door. They get it so it's like 12 inches open. So if they weren't wearing some sort of boiled leathers, they might be able to. Shashik might be able to slip through. He's a wicked thin boy, but not quite enough that anybody here can slip through this door they're trying to open up yet. That brings us back to the top of initiative, which is Mortifer. Now, Mortifer, I know you want to bring the pain. I know you want to kill some folk, but unfortunately, it's going to have to wait until after our next commercial from our sponsor. Oh wait, we don't have sponsors.
What? We just had one like 5 minutes ago.
Yep. No.
No, it's been a whole hour.
It's been an hour.
So Mortifer, no tattoo yet. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Lost Initiative Dark Sun, Season 2, Episode 1, Part 3. Part 3 of 4 parts. So there's another part after this one. Let's get into it. There's a whole bunch of people inside of a building that you smash the roof of, dropping all of the slates that were up there, all of the stone that was up there, everything down upon their head. You haven't been able to see them just because of garbage rolls, dust being thrown up, stuff like that. But you've heard them. You know that they're in there, and you've seen them trying to escape out the door that's been barricaded by the debris that's fallen in because you broke down the wall by the front, because that's where, Shashik was kind of standing there, over by that door. So thus far, you haven't seen anybody directly, and thus far as far you can tell, none have been able to get out. So Mortifer, it's your turn.
I'm going to start off by taking a look, which hopefully will be easier now that more of the wall is gone.
Sure. Roll for me, sir. Okay. So you finally peer into the thing, because like you said, there's part of the wall is gone, so it's literally like at its lowest point, because it's like a curve to it. It's like a swooping chunk missing, not just like a square. The lowest point is maybe as far down as like your solar plex, right? Like it's actually a decent distance. So you literally peer in, like lean your head in. So it's this massive head that's like looking down at everybody. And what you see is there's 5 people, not all of them doing well, over by the front door, clambering to move stones and stuff like that out of the way, literally try to pull a corpse that's more in the way than anything else, but trapped underneath stones, trying to like rip the body to get it out of the way so they can open up the door to allow themselves to escape what you're most likely about to do to them. That's over to your we'll say immediately adjacent to where you are, by the front door. A little bit further in, you actually see there's 3 others that are making their way to the back area of the temple. So as I said beforehand, it is a dome roof. The place is not a perfect sphere. It's actually just more oblong in its design. So even though it's like 20 feet tall and about 15 feet wide, it's actually about 40 feet long. So they're actually making their way back to the back area, the part that didn't have the roof collapse onto it, because there's the other 30% over there. Making their way back there. Where they're going, you can't quite see yet. You also see a couple of others on the grounds that are like, were writhing in pain and they're kind of like now getting themselves up. Imagine they were like stunned or dazed a bit because of what had just transpired. But you also see a bunch of corpses. Mortifer's not smart enough to do a quick count, but the number of people in the room definitely exceeded 7. And the majority of them... Mortifer's not smart enough to get a quick count. If he wants to stop and tally, he can, but that's going to take like an action.
After the battle.
Okay. So, as I said, they're like right there adjacent to you.
Are any of them wearing cloaks?
I mean, they're all Templars, and they're all wearing Templar garb of one type or another.
Okay.
I like how you're like, I can't wait to curse myself. Where's the curse?
Oh,
give it to me.
Mortifer wants it so badly. So I'm going to try to climb in and attack them again.
So you try to clamber in. That's going to be a climb check.
Come on. There you go.
All right. So this time, it's one of those, you take your hammer, and you literally just reach over and put it on the ground in front of you. You grab one side, grab the other. You get your like knee up to your chest to put your foot planted on like the lower portion there, which is 15 feet up, people. Like that's really high up there. And then you just like hoist yourself up and pull yourself up and over and drop down inside the area before you, and pick your hammer back up. You have the 5 that are all around the door, trying to open it, and the 3 that are moving off that way, and a couple of others that are trying to stand up, but they're clearly like...
I will try to cleave 2 of the 3 running away.
Okay, sure. Let's make that attack. Oh, do you want...
So can I pause for a second? So Scott, what do you think cleave does?
Cleave is a Cleave is a standard action attack that allows you to hit one person. If it succeeds, you hit the other person that has to be immediately adjacent to them.
You don't have to succeed on the first. You don't have to succeed on the first one to attack. You attack two adjacent people. So you just
As
make
a standard action, make an attack against a single target at your full base attack bonus. If you hit, you deal damage normally.
Okay.
And can make an additional attack.
I think originally we were using it like 3.5 version, where if you kill someone, you can keep on attacking.
No. He gets to swing through.
I have to hit before I can hit. This
Okay.
It's usually if you hit somebody, they explode.
Okay. I for some reason I had a memory that we were using cleave wrong.
That's all right. Einar's very old.
My question was, did you want to use reckless offense? Because of your mood, because of the state of mind you're in right now, is why I'm asking.
Honestly, yeah, he probably would. At this point, he wants to kill. So I hate to say that he would, but he would at least this one time.
Okay. Anything else you want to use to ping to increase that, like insightful strike? Or are you good?
I want to use my one psionic point to enhance my weapon.
Yep. Oh.
Because it's that crystal.
It's 2 points for 2d6. Okay.
2 points for 2d6. So I'll use that. And I believe that lasts until I hit someone.
I believe it lasts for the attack. I'm going to look up the phrasing for it in 1 second. So until you hit somebody, but I'm just curious if it goes to the second person in the cleave. That's what I'm going to look up for you. And you
I don't know that it goes to the second person in the cleave, but it lasts until I make contact. So if I miss if I miss the attack, I still have it.
It's like a smite. If you miss, it's gonna.
You make your attack roll, and we'll see how it. And I'll read this for if it even applies to a second person.
Okay. All right.
Don't forget to add your +2 because you are.
Yeah. How do I add that on here?
Just we're gonna mathematically in our brain piece because there's no modifier or trigger.
All right. So.
Well, there is. You just gotta actively change it instead of per prompt.
Real quickly, I wanted to read this. And Mortifer really wants to hit, so he's going to use Inevitable Strike for 1 more point. He is desperate to hit something. So it's actually a +7 now.
What you roll is actually whatever you roll +7.
Whatever I roll, it's a +7 to that.
So it's his next hit, not the next attack, because it says that it wouldn't apply to a second person in a cleave. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is, I believe, what you were saying. All right.
So that's a 20.
Okay. So because you added the
Inevitable Strike plus the +2 for Reckless Offense.
Cool. Sounds good. So you burned 3 power points just now. So that is a 20. You definitely hit the first target. Do your damage for me, please, sir.
So many dice.
I know. It's so goofy. Okay. Whoa. But you rolled like Garbo for a non-critical hit roll. The same number.
Sure did.
And you're using damage too, which is 17. So you hit the first person. The person was definitely injured from the collapsing of the ceiling, but even with this blow of your hammer, it's not enough to fell him. However, it does throw him out of the way with the momentum of the hammer carrying through to attack the second person. Make your attack roll, sir.
Does the +5 if this is one? Does the +5 from Inevitable Strike still continue, being as this is the same move?
You roll, and I'll let you know in 1 second. Inevitable Strike.
I don't think it does, but just in case.
I think it's next attack.
Your next single attack roll.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one's only a 12.
Ouch, that sucks. Sorry, man. So you make that attack roll. Unfortunately, the momentum carries through to the second person. Second person saw it coming, was already looking over their shoulder, seeing you clambering over, and rushes forward, kind of like shoving the person that's between them, in front of them a little bit, forward as well. So the one guy is still standing, but not looking good, and the other two are standing as well and continuing to run. Mortifer, that was your bonus. That was your move. That was your action. You're good. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
I should say swift, not bonus. That brings us to the next person initiative, is actually the people that I described beforehand trying to open up the door. This is half of them. They just saw Mortifer come in and is just going over and attacking that direction. They will say double down their efforts, and by that I mean they actually pull out their weapons, and the 3 of them hack away at that limb that was in the way on the corpse that was on the ground, and successfully sever the limb enough that they can break it back and out of the way. Imagine if you're have a roasted chicken and you're trying to remove the chicken leg for you to, the drumstick for you to eat it off of the whole chicken, but it's not a clean remove. You just it's still kind of stuck in there by a tendon or flesh or something, and you're wrestling with it to get it off. That's kind of what they do to get it out of the way.
And they're trying to break out the front door where like Einar was standing.
Correct. So they successfully remove the limb enough to move it out of the way and open the door. Because they're kind of in each other's way, only one of them is actually able to clamber out and literally comes rushing up to Einar, like weapon drawn, covered in blood from doing that hacking just now. Rushes up to Einar, but they
well,
spent their whole
I was
turn
I was
just to
planning
get
on
there.
be like the maximum range away, which would be 35 feet. So if he can move 35 feet.
Okay, so my apologies. If you're not immediately out the door, then
Well, yeah, because I wanted to be far enough away that I could.
you
drop
probably
the-
just never moved when Mortifer and Shusher
Yeah,
did.
I wanted
So-
to be far away from the door specifically. to
So
try
he's
to
still like
break
20 feet away from you, and the others are like in the doorway, but they can't get
Is
out
he
anyways.
in the street?
He's in the middle of the street, yes.
Which means I can see him.
That is true. And that does trigger
Prepared
your
action.
prepared action.
You have to roll at least a 2 on your perception.
Yes.
Oh, I have a question, Ollie. I know you just made your attack roll. Just taking it back 1 second. When Mortifer actually climbed in, are you still standing on his shoulder or like holding on inside there as
Yeah.
well? Oh, okay.
He's a mobile weapons platform right now.
Okay. That sounds great. We should actually
Usually
build
you'd be a
something, right?
halfling for this whole arrangement. This is great.
Yeah. So he's 2 size categories bigger than you, right? So you make your attack
shoot
roll.
in his general direction.
So wait, if I built a wooden platform as part of my armor, when I expand, that would expand with me, right?
Yes.
Oh, Wade, you just came to one of the many D&D conclusions that
It's like
many
so,
plans exist on
I'm
the
just a
internet for
siege
this.
tank.
Yeah.
and so Ollie's like, wait, wooden platform with a half wall? So your 10 for your chance to hit is actually an 11 because you have higher ground, and he's actually flat-footed against you because he doesn't know you're there, and so you actually hit with that attack roll.
Cheeky. So I did 4 damage.
Okay. So it's not much, but you clip him with an arrow from behind, taking his attention away from Einar for a moment to look up and see that you're on his shoulder and just clipped him with an arrow. All right, that brings us to Einar's turn. Right as Einar's turn begins, the swirling tendrils of stuff that was kind of freaking them out before, and then Mortifer coming over and finishing that off, of this shape finishes forming. Dave, remind me, where did you say you were creating it before? Was it?
I was putting it near the door, so it would be 15 feet away from this guy.
Yep.
So so is there people at the door?
Yeah. There's
Yes.
Okay.
at the door.
Technically, 4 of them still at the door, 2 of them immediately in the doorway, and then that one that's halfway between, your robot and you.
I love the visual of one guy bursting out, taking an arrow, and then right between him and his friends that are just like, "Oh, finally we can get out!" Just this giant, horrifying construct appearing.
Actually,
Yeah,
thank you, Wade. This is a new and different one than ones you've done before. Describe it. Because you chose
So
different powers.
I mean, so essentially, it still kind of has like the mummified form. However, this one is just much taller, and you can see that as they get more powerful, they get bigger. It hasn't quite reached large size yet; it's still medium size.
but like top of medium size, so that's talking like 7.5, 8 feet somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
because the next, if I get to the level 5, they become large size.
Okay.
So it's at the top end of medium size
Yep. Cool.
as it towers over him. So it's actually going to stay at the door. It's going to ignore the guy that actually passed by and got closer to me.
Mhm.
And it is going to. Is there a person there who can attack?
Yep. There's 2.
Okay, so it's going to go up to 1 and it's going to attack.
Just to be clear, because of angles, there's one with no cover, and there's one with cover because of the angles of the door. But there's 2 there. Okay.
All right, and
You're
it's
attacking the
powered,
non-cover.
and it's powered. It's set to power attack. So 22, 26 damage.
Okay, well that's sexy. So more or less, as Wade had just described, one comes bursting through past this like weird thing that's appearing, and she's like, "I'm gonna get over to that guy. That guy looks like he's a part. He's clearly a part of this. He looks like he's concentrating on something." And this hasn't really formed much beyond like a little ball that kind of expands out at the end, anyways. And then this thing appears behind him in front of one of his friends that also is looking to rush out behind him. Then instead, as he's literally like rushing to take steps forward, chasing out behind the other Templar, a huge fist just flies forward and hits him straight in the chest, literally soaring backwards 10 feet. Like he's throws him backwards.
Well,
10 feet.
technically, does he soar back 10 feet or is he tripped? Because he has the automatic trip. 19. What's the CMD?
You soar him again, send him soaring back 10 feet on his ass, but with a collapsed chest and dead.
All right, turns to the next one. Second attack.
Okay.
28.
Mortifer wants 2 attacks.
Mortifer wants to roll well with his
Mortifer made
damage
2
rolls.
attacks.
Mortifer wants 2 other attacks.
This other one, the one that kind of had a little bit of cover, because of the fact that it has a full round action, it can free 5-foot step. So it literally kind of like it punches the one as that guy literally watches the guy go soaring backwards, chases, watches after him. He literally turns back around to see this thing stepping up to grab the person and just crunch them down. Just like
And as far as Einar's turn, old classic.
Ego whip.
All right.
They actually have good will saves.
I understand that, but I have good saves. So wisdom save. He'll still take half the damage though.
I rolled a natty 1. I'm not even joking. I rolled a natty 1.
Nice.
Like that's bad.
All right, so I did it for both the powered and the unpowered one, so it's going to roll 2 damages. It's the first one, 4. So he takes 4 charisma damage, and he's stunned, or whatever he does happens to him.
Let's see. These are technically Inquisitors. Inquisitors run off of Wisdom. So
but he might have low charisma.
Yeah. So he takes 4 charisma damage.
4 charisma damage, and he's dazed.
Yep, dazed for a round.
How does dazed apply?
He can defend himself, but he can't do anything on his turn.
Okay.
So I was using that ability a lot during the early game, telepathic lash, which also dazes, but it's strictly for very low level creatures. I can't, like, for example, these guys, I imagine specifically, plus it has to be 5 HD or less.
Mm-hmm.
So actually 4 HD or less.
So Ollie, it's Shashik's turn. You're still on Mortifer's shoulder. He's moving around quite vigorously, and so if you're continuing to stand there right now as he's doing these huge motions, and you're kind of just barely holding on with one hand as he's doing them, it's going to be increasingly difficult for you to do stuff. The wall is behind you if you wanted to hop to it, or you could drop to the ground, or stay where you are. Just making sure you're aware.
Dropping to the ground, would that need any kind of roll or penalty or anything?
I imagine if you just kind of like even say something to Mortifer, he can like crook his arm and you can like step down and
slide down.
Yeah.
How is it? How do you change weapons again? Is it just one of your many?
Do you want to put a weapon away and draw
Yes.
one? Okay, so if you want to put it away, that takes your move action. So like you wouldn't be able to walk and do that. Like you could drop to the ground, but it literally so you can drop weapons.
Oh, if I'm dropping to the ground, but in essentially right next to Mortifer, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be.
Cool. So drop it down there. Won't take.
Maybe get in like flanking position to some of these guys, but if not, then that's fine. I'll just drop down, and I assume I can only take 1 weapon out because that's kind of how it's usually been. So I'll put my bow away.
How about you roll to really awesomely run down my hammer and jump behind them?
Oh yes, that's how we do it. And I would
We have
just
2 weeks to practice this.
That's what you're doing down there?
I'll take out my sword.
Enlarging in the slave quarters, having Ollie run down my hammer as I swing.
So just to be a rule stickler, that does technically mean you have to drop your bow on the ground, but you can recover it later on. No, problem.
I explicitly said I didn't want to.
Then you wouldn't be able to go all the way down the hammer and appear behind them. You would have to. So what I was saying to you is you have to use your move action to put a weapon away and draw another one.
And then you said I could just drop for free.
Or you can just drop to the ground adjacent to him
sure.
for free.
Can we not just have some nice flavor text sometimes?
I mean,
I think what you're trying to do is drop your bow. Just drop your bow, run down the hammer.
I don't want to. I want to unequip my bow. Shashik is not dropping his bow. It is expensive. It is more expensive than you.
That's fine. Sorry, rules. So
no, but I am agreeing with you. I'm just saying that's cool, and if you could describe it as a cool thing, that's nice.
Yeah. The cool thing was
suck all the fun out.
So the free 5-foot step when you're dropping down the 20 feet off of his shoulder was you drop down onto like the crook of his arm, and then you drop down onto the ground next to him, throwing the shoulder.
That's cool.
Of you.
Yeah. No, like, if I could move more, it would be nice to move into a flanking position. Actually, if I can double move, that might be smarter because that gives Mortifer like a +2 next turn.
It does, yes.
Yeah, I'll actually do that.
Okay, so run down my hammer.
So you can do that. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's better. I'll just be a flanking bitch. It'll be great.
No, that's awesome though. Awesome. And you had asked how many can you draw? You have 2 weapon fighting as a feat, correct?
Yeah, does that actually affect that?
That means you can draw 2 weapons at the same time. So you can actually
Cool. It
pull out.
doesn't say that on here, but then there's a lot of writing in these books.
Yep, exactly. So it's in like the background noise of the rules. So anyways, you go rushing down the hammer. I honestly, you have a really high acrobatics. I'm not even gonna make you roll for it because again, this is your boy. You go rushing down the hammer and you jump off of it, and because you know he kind of like lowers it down enough that you could easily like hop off and land on the other side of the peoples that were running away. So that leaves you with your swift action if there's anything that you can do with it. But you're flanking and cutting off their exit.
Let me check real quick. No, nothing that isn't. Most of my swift actions interact with other attacks.
Okay, so then that would be your turn, cutting off their escape. If they tried to move past you, they would get attacks of opportunity against them. All right.
I didn't even think about that.
That brings us.
They would provoke them against me now too, right? Because I'm in range. If they try to move out of my range.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you guys would each get one. So that brings us to the other group of people that were by the door. 'Cause there's a clump of them together. The other group of people by the door. The remaining 2. There's now this big wall of milky white stuff in front of them, and they're, you know, there's like a moment of like fear and panic on them when they see this, but then one of them just kind of caution to the wind goes rushing headlong towards it to make an attack against it. I had rolled it while we were chatting before, and Dave, I don't know what its AC is.
22.
It tings off of the shell of what this creature is and does not harm it whatsoever. The other person, however, does not rush forward and attack, and instead shifts himself to be able to see through the doorway, and kind of like peeks through the doorway, and says, "Einar? Mortifer! Shashuk! What the fuck?"
Oops.
I'm annoyed because I had a line prepared and I forgot it. I'm mad at myself, but mostly I'm disappointed.
Mortifer doesn't even he's not even listening right now. He's in as close to a barbarian rage as a non-barbarian can be. He's having a very I told you guys off camera, but chat can, if you haven't pieced it together, Mortifer's having a very chaotic evil kind of day.
Good. This is a chaotic evil necessitating situation.
So he does not even acknowledge. He does not right now. He just wants blood.
Okay, so the 3 people, the one that you had struck but didn't quite fall, and the others start rushing to move past Shashuk to get out of range. One of them is actually, when I say rushing, he's actually turns around and is going to try to. Sorry, my apologies. He turns around and throws his hands up in the air towards what's your name there? Mortifer throws his hand up in the air and does a couple quick hand motions and says a couple words, and there's like a sudden flash that happens in front of you. Could you do me a favor and actually make me a will save? This is Mortifer.
Fortitude save, sure.
Will save.
Will
save. It's 11. You fail. Actually, the flash is specifically designed to negate your ability to make attacks of opportunity for the round. So it says something to make it so you actually won't be able to hit them as they're running away. He spends his action doing that and then, moves forward. The other 2 are also going to move forward. The one that wasn't hit by you actually rushes up to straight up attack at Shashuk to like more or less take him out. So he rushes up to Shashuk. Don't worry. You get a moment in a second. Shashuk, remind me of your AC.
It's only 15.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah, AC, that's correct. So only a 15?
I was gonna cast another spell and defend myself more, but no, I didn't.
As you roll around for a minute. So he comes rushing forward at you, and he has in his hands a longsword, just like most other people. His longsword is made out of obsidian. It's just a very well-crafted one. Imagine it's hardened, and But he comes rushing at you with an obsidian longsword and actually does successfully hit you. And he hits you for... Oh, sorry. Where are you? He successfully hit you... Oh, that's shit. He hit 4 points of damage.
4. Biofeedback reduces by 2.
Yeah. So he hits you for a while. He barely scratches. You know, your
Wait,
character.
actually, it might be 3. Yeah, I only take 1 point of damage. Yeah, I got damage reduction 3 right now. Oh man, Scott, you were right. Damage reduction was fun in the older editions.
It is. It really is. I love the a lot of the stuff that they have. So I do need, because he did technically hit you, I do need one more thing to take place here. Could you actually make for me a will saving throw as well?
Oh no, he's got mind poison.
You succeed. So he had he more or less, when he swung his sword at you, he had behind that sword a bit of magical might to it, something that you could actually feel this energies washing over your body. It just feels dirty as the sword hits you, and you literally actively resist it in your mind. You have to put forward your strength of will to stop what this was. You felt it kind of like making your joints feel rigid. You kind of felt like it causing like a tingle down your body, but then you, like I said beforehand, resist its effects. That leads to after he makes that attack against you and does that thing, he actually is standing like there between you and the third person, the one that hasn't been attacked or anything yet. That one skirts around him and continues moving forward out of reach. He does a double move and actually goes over to the back wall area where there is another person that was standing there beforehand, the one that was kind of calling them over. You heard the voices before. That person that was standing over in like the darker spot because of sun coming down, shaded area, is literally moving, like grabbing and pulling open a bit of stone in the wall. And it opened straight out to the street behind. Like you depressed it and moved it to the side, opened straight out to the street behind, and they're trying to like get out and get away. Because of his speed and waiting for the door to open, he barely gets out into the street on the backside, but he's out there. Mortifer, it is your turn. There is the person that just said, "What the F, Mortifer?" There's the person that said that attacks the thing to no avail. The summoned creatures to no avail. The one that flashed your eyes, that is very heavily injured, and the one that wasn't injured by you that attacked Ollie. Two others ran out the back.
Is the weak one and the one that attacked Ollie still kind of close together?
Absolutely.
I'll try to cleave those two.
They were both kind of like running defense against Ollie.
So I will try to hit. Huh?
I give you more flanking modifiers.
You know what, Scott? I don't think I enchanted my weapon last time, but I never applied that extra damage.
I was wondering that. I was gonna say something, but I didn't know how much damage your maul did, so I didn't.
Because it's too much to retcon that what happens. Just apply it now.
Yeah, so I'm gonna for free keep my power then.
I was like 4d6. He got to have applied it on that. That's loads of dice.
So I'm gonna use my power point to inevitable strike again.
Welcome to Clink. So you inevitable strike again? Okay, that's your swift action. So +5, you're reckless attacking again, I imagine. So +7. And +2 from Ollie. You have a +9 to whatever you roll.
Okay.
Have at it. Okay, so that's a 21. You definitely... I imagine you hit the injured guy first. Oh, would you hit the injured guy first? Or the one that just stabbed Ollie?
Which one is further to my right? The one that stabbed Ollie, probably?
They're kind of actually in like a row in front of you. Like one is closer to you, one's further from you in like a straight off row.
I think I'd probably hit the one that struck at Ollie first.
Sure. Okay.
Because I could tell that the other one's pretty injured, and I know that the majority of my power is going into this first hit.
Yep. You use your magic smart. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So brilliant damage.
Remind me, the crystal does an extra 2d6 whenever I use that power.
Yes, sir.
So should I just slash roll 66 + 8 then?
If that's what you prefer to do.
Just get it all out.
Are you applying that additional +1 because of the feat that you had picked up when you leveled?
I think Dave and I added that to it. Dave, did we add that on there?
What, the psionic weapon?
Correct.
I don't know if we any altered your attack. So I have to after the session. We'll take a look.
Okay, so we'll assume you did for now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Whew. So this guy comes up and stabs you, uses some sort of magical might to make you feel rigid. You resist it. And then right as you like, kind of like, yo, this fucker right here, and you start like planting your feet and getting ready to like rip this person apart or whatever it is that you're about to, whatever ferocity you're about to throw at this person, Shashuk, you're getting yourself prepared, and then all of a sudden a hammer just completely takes him out right in front of you. It's like one of those, you know.
I had him.
You're welcome.
And do your follow through attack, sir.
Okay, so this one doesn't have the +5, so it's just the +2 on top of this?
2 from Reckless and 2 from Ollie. +4.
+4, okay. 16.
16 hits. Roll your damage, sir. This is your normal damage.
Yeah.
Which is still 22 points of damage. So not much worse than the other one. And you easily, like, so it's one of those things where as you squish the first one, it's literally because of like how much force came down with the blow of the first one, you just kind of like followed through and pressed down and allowed like the base of your hammer to sorry, the actual haft of the hammer to hit him as well. You know what I mean? So it's like you hit both the guy with the head of the hammer and this guy with the haft of the hammer, took them both out in the one blow. That you still technically, because that's just a standard action for you, which is crazy badass. You could still move your speed.
Can I get to the guy that went out the hole in the wall?
So that whole thing is about 40 feet long because of like how large your character is. You can get to the hole in the wall, but that hole is way too small for you to get through. That is.
I wanted to know if I could get close enough to make an attack of opportunity if he moved away again. Or
no, because he's gonna have like improved cover from like being just outside of the actual hole in the wall. So your better bet would be to climb out now.
Okay, then I'll do that.
Okay, make another climb check for me.
Yeah, there we go.
Different than last time, you plant your hammer down in front of you instead of on the other side of the wall. Step up on your hammer and then kind of like hoist yourself over down the other side of the wall, like, you know, grab it, drop down, reach back in, grab the hammer out, and you have it, you know, with you. Because of the size of the wall compared to your character, it really just counts as 20 feet of movement out of your, what's your move, 30?
Does it change when I'm enlarged?
No. You're bigger but slow moving.
I'm looking for it. I think it's 30.
So you can take like another, like, you know, large step. So you also took like another 10-foot step forward.
Speed is 20. Run is ×4.
Your speed's only 20?
That's what it says on my additional.
Seems wrong. We'll look at that later.
Oh, wait. No. At the bottom it says speed 30. So maybe speed is 30?
Speed probably has something to do with weight, or speed's 30. Well, it's 30. That makes sense. So okay. Pushing on, the that was Mortifer. Just killed those two and stepped out to go chasing after. The guy that's in front of you, Einar, he's dazed. So he's one of those things where he just like starts like, you know, blinking a couple of times. And hold on 1 second. Oh, that's too big of a modifier. Subtract some. What was the DC of that? Was it an 18 for your daze effect, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not good enough. So he's just like, you know, trying to move forward, but he can't quite get the body to do what he wants it to, and so he just like, you can see that there's, you know, ferocity behind his eyes. Like he's actively trying but can't do it. Maybe trying more than a typical person would be able to do, but still can't. That's unfortunately his whole turn. That brings us to Einar.
Is there anyone else near the astral construct?
The one that hit it to no avail, and the one that called out your names. Though that's not like within reaching, because, you know, they kind of, you know, you would have to walk up to that one. But the one that, you know, attacked it, you can attack, no problem.
Okay. Well, if he's able to attack the one in front of him, he will do so. Attack.
It's a hit. Oh, this is a red damage, that whole 23. So same thing with this guy, you know what I mean? Because it's not that these people don't only have the small amount of health. They're actually really tough. It's just that they were injured by Wade's collapsing of the ceiling, dropping a ton of D6 onto people's heads, varying depending on what their save was. So this, you know, your thing, this big beefy thing, you know, grabs the guy, you know, turns it sideways and just throws it, you know, long ways at the wall to its side and just smashes into the wall and just breaks the person. This is you can still move up to the other person if you'd like.
All right, but it's
can't
he's
attack.
more than 5 feet away. He can't.
Yeah.
Okay, so he can't full attack anymore. All right, so he attacks. He moves up to the other guy.
Yep.
And I guess for my turn, I guess just again, I'm gonna try to ego whip him again. So just we'll save.
Okay. Yay. I rolled very well. Not good enough.
All right, on damage.
The first one, correct?
Yep, it's gonna be the first one, dealing another 4.
Jesus.
So he's lost 8 charisma.
I mean, the
And he's dead.
average stat is 10. You know, for humans.
Man, I wish I had done the second one.
In Dark Sun, I know, right? In Dark Sun, most people's average stats are a little bit lower, but this is a Templar, so you might be able to get him next round. Let's see. He's still standing and dazed and drooling. Next is going to be Shashuk's turn. Shashuk, that fucker so they're dead in front of you. That fucker just took off outside that door over yonder with another person. And there's the one that you called out your name. And, you know, you kind of glanced, obviously, that way after you said your comment to Mortifer and everything. You see him. He's actually the leader of the Templars that ran this place, the friend of yours.
I'm going to point at him, and I'm going to go... And then I'm going to run after the guy who went yonder.
Oh, wait. I missed it. What?
I did the old finger to the throat means death. But then I'm going to run the other way.
Yep.
And I don't know if one movement will be enough to catch up with him.
So your speed is only a 30?
Yeah, I wish I could make it faster, but...
Hold on one second. My KB is just dropped like hard. We just dropped 500 frames. Everything seems to have balanced out.
500, that's nothing.
Yeah, but in one chunk, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. We're good again. All right, we're good. Sorry about that. So, you, unfortunately, because he double moved, chasing after you.
I'm fine with double move chasing.
No, he was actually in front of you and ran to behind you. So, and he had, like I said, couldn't move the entire way because the door opening. You actually can catch up to the 2 people over there, but much like beforehand.
Wait, I thought there was 3 of them.
2 out here.
Remember, there were 3 in front of Ollie. You killed 2, and 1 ran off and joined up with another one over there. So now there's 2 that.
Oh, I didn't know there was another one over there. Got it.
So Ollie, just like with those 2, how they were kind of like running defense of this one person. He is also running defense of that person, so you can catch up to the guard that was the one open. The one that's
I
open
don't
the
care as
door.
long as I can catch up with one of them.
Yep.
Right?
How close did I get to them by climbing and running?
Only 10 feet around you have to make your way around the building. So
Okay.
Which is 40 feet long.
If I can run up and do an attack, I absolutely will.
Mm-hmm. It's still bouncing all over the place, unfortunately.
I'll bounce on your place.
It hopefully levels out.
That stopped at a 3 for about half a second.
Don't look at the dice. Don't acknowledge the dice. They will only lie to you.
Ooh.
You're 22, sir. Is an obvious hit. That's
I want to do one of the ones like, no, stop, wait, and grab his hand.
You know, I'm being sold on these digital dice because I forgot about the drama of dice rolls.
Oh, absolutely.
Of watching a dice roll.
Right.
Yeah.
The only thing we're missing is we don't hear you don't hear it, the sound of it hitting the table. Oh, wait, do you guys hear the sound of it hitting the
We hear.
Oh,
It's muted on your end.
I muted because I give it to the viewers. That's right.
Yeah. The only thing we miss is that it constantly rolling on the floor. That's the.
I wish you could do a transparent dice roll and just have it roll on top of our faces. On this.
We do that on our other shows.
Yeah, we do that in the
We still
false
do that.
pretenses shows. I don't do it here because unfortunately, when Wade attacks, it's not just his 4d6; it's like 65d6. So it covers everything, so it doesn't have the same effect. You can't see
But
what
that'd
it
be
is.
really amusing for them to see that at least once.
But like even like right now, what we're seeing is 3d6 were rolled, but only 1d6 applies.
It's because there's too much. Because there's like redundant dice that we see on this game, which kind of defeats the point.
Yeah, it's just.
But it's cool and possible.
It's just the code of this character sheet.
If we were
Actually,
playing 5e,
there's somebody that was trying to look into fixing this for us so that we could have a cleaner version, but unfortunately it's just written in such a like screwed up way. It's a hard web to untangle. Thank you, Unfunny. We
I
appreciate the
deal
effort.
8 untyped damage to this lad.
All right, so 8's damage to that person. Do you add anything to it?
What?
Okay.
Oh, I should probably declare terrors before I make my attack, don't I? It doesn't actually explicitly say.
Was it? Well, what does it say? Can you put it in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not the rules for terror specifically. I don't.
mean, it's what I got.
But you're fine. So no.
I don't mind if I can't. I just don't
Oh,
remember.
that is for terror specific. I thought that was the terror you're doing. At third level, the alert trying to
because I'm
channel the
not
terrorist or any
declared
melee
doing
attack
one
holding even if they using the devastating attack as a ranged attack, such as
It says nothing to do with this,
Yeah.
but up to you.
So, I mean, whatever action it uses, if it uses a swift action to do,
Yes.
then swift actions can be done after the attack roll.
Oh, then of course I will do. Let me just look through.
Oh yeah, so it's not about because that's the cost, because usually the cost is the declaration, but the cost is a swift action.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Dave, I miss your being able to explain the things I'm trying to say, but say poorly.
I'll just do the old incite fear. They need
okay.
to do a will save.
And this is just to become shaken.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, these guys, I don't think.
They probably have bonuses to being feared. I doubt, unless they're high level. I doubt.
Counteracted by my debuffs against being feared.
I was just about to say
-4.
No, the -4 doesn't apply. What it is they're actually immune to fear, but you get rid of their immunity, so there's no -4. Instead, just you get rid of the immunity. Okay, I'll roll. I'm grumpy that I have to, but I'll roll.
This is the first time that's come into play.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Templars. I rolled a total of a 9, so
He is
shaking in his boots.
fear.
Roll me a d4 for how many rounds it lasts, and let's keep going. We've dropped 4,000 frames since that time I mentioned something. That's hard. It sucks.
Oh, 1 round. Well, you know what? It's worth it.
Yeah, I still see it kind of freezing up a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. I'm so sorry. I'll try to reset it once we hit our next break, which will be in a moment. Let's just finish this up. So if it gets really bad in chat, please just let us know, and I can pull a break early. But for now, this should be good enough, hopefully. So moving on, that's going to be that group actually is the person that was speaking that got threatened. So it was like, you already climbed out and ran away. The other one ran off. So did you have your beast walk up to the person that had called your name before, Dave?
Yes, he walked right up to him. He wasn't able to attack him, but he walked right up to him.
So currently there's a guy in the street, there's the guy in the building that has your construct next to him, and then there's the 2 that Ollie and I are pursuing. Is
Correct.
that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
There's 4 left.
So, fuck. What he does is he calls out to you and says, Einar?
I don't respond.
Fuck. He uses his standard action to disengage and moves 30 feet away, going towards that, more or less get into the door out back, but not anywhere near as close as like Ollie was able to get. So he's just moves 30 feet away. Hope for the best.
There is no such thing as disengage in Pathfinder.
Yeah, you use standard action to run away safely.
Yeah. Can you? Oh yeah, you can. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yep. Yes, you can.
Yep. All right. So, anyways, let's.
Does it provoke an active opportunity if you disengage?
Correct, but you don't have an attack or a spell or anything like that if you do.
Right.
That brings us to the so this group, is this dead? This group, nope, it's not. So that brings us to the guy that was running and the one that Ollie just feared. So he's shaken, not frightened, correct? So he's going to turn back despite being shaken and is going to attack at Ollie. The other one is going to continue running down the street and is going to turn into like go over to a door and like pop it open and go rushing into that door. Kind of like trying to shut it behind him. So he's not able to go far because he's manipulating a door on the way.
Oh, okay.
So the one that's attacking you, Ollie.
Yeah. So you can allow, but it's called withdraw, and you get double your move, but you still take attacks of opportunity.
That's what?
I'm dead serious. It's called withdraw, but you still take it. The thing is, if you
withdraws
move out
modern
of
day dash.
Yeah. So basically, what you do is that your initial square, you still take attacks of opportunity, but any additional attacks of opportunity you would take, you don't take them.
Yeah.
So in other words, I'm not going to stop you just because It's,
do you have reach?
I don't have reach.
So my initial square would not provoke. I move back and then I'm free to run.
Yeah, but if you move back, then it means you can't move at all because that's your 5 foot. You can't move after taking a 5 foot step back.
What? No,
if you take a 5 foot step,
action.
you can't use any other move during that turn.
I'll Google this during the next break, which is coming very soon.
No, I'm just saying I'm fine letting this go.
So because I'm pretty sure you can get away with it, but let me just check it afterwards. So, anyways,
That's fine.
he attacks at you, Ollie. What's your AC again?
15.
I hit exactly a 15. Cool. So he does hit you. This one's actually using a.
Only I could ever get a full round attack to increase my AC.
He is
never happen.
Only using a short sword against you. This one's not using a long sword against you.
Thank Babner.
7 points of damage. I believe -3 is only 4 for you.
It's nicer than it could have been.
Could you do me a favor? Could you make me a Constitution save?
They don't exist, so I am free to
A Fortitude save.
Scott, no, you're right. It's the exact opposite of what I said. You get out of that first square, but any additional ones you take it. So you're good.
Yep. But you only get your one move, not your double move. So you fail your Fortitude save. So this is what happens. When he hits you with the sword, once again, you can feel like something like overcoming your body, some power behind this attack that you otherwise wouldn't have felt before. And it starts like rack through your bones and starts like causing pain to every part of you. This is different than the one before, where it was like freezing everything up. So it's sending like searing pain throughout your muscles and everything. You start to feel them like being sapped of their strength. So I'm just gonna roll 1d4. 2 points of strength damage.
Oh, I fear not strength damage modifications.
And that is his turn. Like I said, the other one ran down the street. You obviously saw which door he went into. Turn to the side. Mortifer, it's your turn. The building is 40 feet long, as I had said beforehand. You had climbed out. You take up. My apologies. Your size goes from 5 to 15. You walk 10, so you are 25 feet past the building as it stands. So you move another 15 feet. You can then turn the corner to go around and move an additional 15 feet after that. That actually allows you to. Even before walking your full movement, but allows you to get within reach of the one that just attacked Ollie.
Okay, did I see where the other one went or not?
You know what? Because of the broken roof, your height, so on and so forth, it's a decent DC, but roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
And can I get to him to attack him?
Unfortunately, you can't get to him to attack him, but if you double move past these two squabbling, you can get to the building that he ran in.
So I think I'll yell to Shashuk. Should I kill the one attacking you or go after the other one?
Kill them all, bitch.
Shashuk's in the moment.
I love Shashuk.
So I think I will go to kill. I'll kill the one I can see. I'll go try to hit the one that's attacking Shashuk.
Okay. I imagine you said that literally because you saw it over the roof as you were walking around. And you're like, all right.
I get stabbed.
To kill them all. So Mortifer's in a. I'm gonna attack if I can attack.
All right, girl.
I'd like to add that when Shashuk gets stabbed there, he makes the face that Frodo makes when he gets stabbed by the Wraith. He's like,
Oh no.
I just got nauseous.
just for the audience.
Oh, thanks. Make your attack roll, damn it. Oh,
Right,
are
so
you reckless attacking again?
Reckless offense.
Okay, you are not getting flanked by Shashuk.
We're not flanking.
You're not flanking for this one.
Nah,
So just a
'cause
+2 for reckless.
there's kind of like a T junction going on here.
Okay. All right. So it's just a +2 then.
Correct. I thought it was going to turn to that 1 for a second. That's
did
that's a 20. You definitely hit. Roll your damage there. See, look at that. I'm going to count for a second. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 dice up here. Like that's too much for what ends up being
All that
16
for 18
damage.
points of damage.
All right, sorry, my apologies. 18 points of damage. And Ollie, just a moment ago, stabbed him for, what was it, 6? No, 8.
8.
24.
Stabbed. I just touched him. I just gave him a friendly pat on the wrist.
24 points of damage. He's actually still standing.
He's a hearty lad. He's been drinking his milk in this blessed of months.
I'm
Full
gonna
of calcium.
have this guy more or less do nothing. Give me 1 second to waste your time. Oh, I actually rolled really high. So the one that you had dazed again, once again, he is like concentrating really hard. And actually, it's like he's pouring sweat, not just because it's hot outside, it's like how hard he's concentrating. His face is like turning like purplish. And all of a sudden, he takes a step forward and is actually able to break free from the daze that he had been doing.
Cool.
And
Okay.
a power to break the status effect. And so, comes forward towards you to attack at Einar. I rolled an 92. He as he clambers forward to attack at Einar, he just broke free of the daze. Unfortunately, he was stumbling, kind of like so much force, so much blood rushed to his head. It's like for so long, it just swings out wide. Einar doesn't even move to the side much, like maybe flinches a slight defense, but it just swings way out wide.
I love the way you use the word "unfortunately,"
It is unfortunate for
as
the
if we feel
perspective.
bad for him for not hitting us.
Listen, it's really wet from the perspective of water. Okay.
Scott always talks like that.
What the fuck was that saying?
Don't have him say it again. I don't want to hear it again.
That might be the weirdest thing anyone's ever said.
I actually 100% agree with you.
I just gonna ignore that.
Let's move on.
All right, so the Astral Construct is going to run up to the guy. It has a 40-foot move. It's going to run up to that guy to try to get away from it, and it's going to try to punch him in the face. Can it do that?
And this is the guy that was running like running away.
Who withdrew?
His speed is what again?
40.
Yes, easily.
All right, punch him in the face.
God.
Hits him. Hurts him. Throws his ass on the ground.
All right, he's on the ground in front of him.
But he ain't dead yet.
He ain't dead yet. He's on the ground, though. No
Really?
more withdrawing, you silly willy.
Well,
All right, and as for me, I take a step back. All right, this guy, he actually attacked me. He pissed me off. Over channel again. Why did it roll so many? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So it does 3 damage. And will save. Now, because I over channeled, it's DC 20.
Okay. Damn it. I'm never going to be able to break these goddamn things. His will save is a +5, okay? I fail.
That's better than mine.
I got an 18, Dave.
All right. Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I rolled a 13 + 5 is 18. Like, oh well. Moving on.
All right. I made the right choice. All right, roll good. Dealing 7 more. So he has taken.
Oh, because you over channeled, you increased the level. No!
He's taken 15 charisma now.
I thought it was 1, and so he's going to be a pain in your ass.
Nope,
Dave,
15
describe
charisma damage.
describe what happens to this man.
Well, so basically, I would imagine like having your charisma drained. Your charisma is your sense of self, your sense of being. So I imagine just his eyes become hollow, and he just falls on his knees and falls forward, just dead.
Like a Dementor's kiss.
Yeah,
sort of a thing.
essentially.
Yeah. All right. I like it.
Because charisma is like your sense of being.
Yeah. All right. Well, he did, and I can
All right.
finally remove
You're
that.
like a
guy.
snap.
I 5-foot step, so I actually can't move at all, and so that's my turn.
Okay. That leaves us to Shashuk. Technically speaking, there's that guy that's in front of you that got beat up. He's really hurt, but not quite dead yet. And there's one that just was coming out the doorway behind you, but then got thrown on his ass. That's more or less between Mortifer's legs. You know what I mean? But there's the guy that's in front of you that you just stabbed you and Mortifer smashed.
Now this is a sticky wicket. Because one in front of me is pretty hurt. And the one behind/beside me is probably not hurt, right?
That one
He
ran
just-
away.
That one just got 25 points of damage from the astral construct.
Oh, that one's. Is that one here now too?
And then there's someone else who's run even further away.
That ran into the building.
Okay, cool.
So 3 left.
If I see you like thinking,
You know what? No, I know what I'm doing. Shashik doesn't think. I am doing this. I am choosing that not to affect any allies. am going to try and daze both of them, and if I do successfully daze them, I am going to run chasing the guy with my rest of my movement.
All right, Scott, you need to create enemies that have resistance to daze. I think that's what this combat is teaching us.
When you fight humans, that's fine. It's when you fight other beasties that we,
Yeah, exactly.
Or just let us have our fun.
Yeah, so
Throw me an ooze.
I'm having
Scott,
fun.
despite
I'm having fun.
they are, one is now prone and dazed, and the other is now just standing there drooling in front of
It's
him.
one of those things where, like, trapped between these guys, I don't even think, like, most of these powers don't even have visual effects unless you're Einar. So there's probably, like, looks between them, just, like, roars at them, and just runs past them as they're drooling, just, like, shoving them out of the way. And then I'll use the rest of my movement to chase the dude who's got away from us. But with only one movement, so.
Okay, so you step around this guy, no problem. Maybe even nudging him slightly. Oh no, would you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you like nudge him like fucker, and then you go rushing off after the other one. Because of like your speed, you can get to that door and open it, but you can't quite get through it yet, right? And so I'll describe what you see on the inside. As you go through it, you open up the door. You actually see again like this area of the city. Everybody's just kind of like the combat stopped again. Like aside from what you're doing right now, the combat stopped. People aren't fighting each other, not squabbling. They're just like it's stopped. And so there's a lot of people in this building. Who knows if they knew each other prior, but it's more people than you would generally see inside of a building together, and they're all just like against the walls, and like it's like as you pop the door open, like every head snaps your way from the way that it had looked, and they're like just like all looking at you like what the fuck.
Cool. That's what Shashik liked. There's like he opens the door and he's like, yeah, it's good to be king.
And after that, I just gotta make sure I remember who these guys are. It is the one that's
After
on the
that-
ground.
Maybe we should take a little break.
Oh, would you like to take a break, Ollie? Okay.
Well, if we don't take it now, when are we going to take it?
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. We'll be back. I'm just excited because the combat's fun. All right, bye everybody. Be back soon.
Half session combat.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. It's the 4th hour. You know what session. You know what season. All right, so Ollie, you had just run up to that door, opened the door, breathed in the fear. You love it.
I end my turn.
And then it is the guy that is prone on the ground, dazed, and can't do anything. That's his turn. Then it's the guy that was standing in front of Ollie. He just ran around, who's dazed and can't do anything. But then it's the guy that Ollie is chasing and is continuing to run as quickly as he can. Ollie, roll me a perception check.
Oh boy, I can't wait to fail.
This is like the one thing we've sucked at tonight is rolling perception.
I've always sucked at perception. I've put like actually 4 more points into perception during this level up. Like half my level up was perception, and I still suck because I have a -1 going in.
You heard the slamming of a door, meaning you heard the slamming of a door. There's not many doors that exist because, like,
I can figure it out based on the door.
Yes, from the fact that there's a door. There's no doors on the inside of houses usually because they're so expensive, right? You think he went out the back way. He's not even in the house anymore. Okay, moving on. Mortifer, there's a guy that's like literally like right next to your foot, prone, and
Another guy right
dazed.
next to him that's dazed.
Yeah, the guy over there is dazed.
I'll hit the prone one first because he's the easier target. Because I think I get a bonus against prone targets, right?
Yep. You get a +2 against prone. Are you reckless offensing as well?
Yep.
Okay.
So +2 from the reckless offense, +2 from the prone, and I will roll.
Roll what? Ooh. Oh no! It just sucks because we see an 18 and a 1.
Yep. I always roll the dice that doesn't count. Is like the crit confirmed dice is always the one that rolls highest. Every time. It has not failed once in the last 3 sessions.
So you drop your hammer down. Like it's literally one of those, you try to hit that guy that's prone first. And so you literally try to drop your hammer on him. It's one of those like, hey, squash the bug. It's in the way. Unfortunately, you actually did hit him, but he was wearing fairly decent armor before, and just like the way he had slumped down, the way that beastie thing was there, it just happened to clip like the kinks of the armor that he has happened to like fold in just the right way that it had so much extra like force to stop it.
It's gonna be like, it makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense.
No, but it goes beyond that. It goes beyond that though. But the kink that you actually hit was such a pointed spot. It actually puts a chip into your hammerhead. It actually sends like a couple of spindles around the hammerhead itself. You do 1 point of damage to its durability. I think it's 5 durability. All right, Einar.
Is he flat-footed? Is that the thing? Someone asked in chat.
1 is a miss, lad.
Hey, it's a 12.
I was wondering if flat-footed was meant to be a joke.
I don't know. I don't know. That person.
Well, no, he's disoriented and prone. So
but no, not flat-footed.
Okay.
All
right. Thanks, Naga. It was a nice try.
All right. So, the guy at my feet should have gotten a turn before my turn, because because I ran up to him, I knocked him on his ass, and he should have gotten a turn.
No, because he's dazed.
No. The guy on the feet, he's just prone.
He's also dazed.
Why is he dazed? Oh,
because I dazed him.
You dazed him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's mean.
He did nothing because he can do nothing.
Oh, then the summon's gonna finish him off.
+2 to your attack roll.
Actually, +4.
Is it +4 when somebody's prone?
Yes.
Oh.
+4.
Well, wait, you actually got a 12 and missed.
And +4 AC if someone
from a range. Okay, I thought it was 2. It's 4.
I would have had a 14, Scott.
Okay. Well, the thing just more or less stomps hard down on it, crushing it, and
wait, what's his AC?
The person on the ground?
Yeah.
What was your total?
14. Is it a 15?
Actually, because he was the leader amongst them, his AC is above a 14. If he was just a regular one of the Piston Templars, that
just want to make sure my 14 wasn't taken from me.
Yeah.
I rolled a 14 with a goddamn natty 1. I hate this.
Anyway, so we can chat about my opinion of automatic successes and failures later on. So you kill him, and I imagine you have it walk over to the other dazed person.
Yeah, I walk over the next day person. I enter the room. If I I double move to get close.
Your speed is I think 20 right now.
Yeah, it's
So
20
you
right
get
now,
most of the way through the room. So you're about 10 feet from the door that your thing just killed a person on the other side of. So you can't see everybody else. You can just see a squish thing on the ground and part of like Mortifer's like leg, from the kind of like angled corner from the doorway, because he's so big. And that goes to Sheshik. Sheshik,
I make chase.
do you go rushing through the actual building itself, or do you go around? Okay, so you're rushing through. Your character's not stupid. So you bend around the corner, find the door, go rushing through, pop it open, chasing after. Now, he got a head start by one move and a half from your character. But you actually know this city better than almost any Templar, right? So you're going to start chasing after, like you just said. To do so, I'm going to say it's an acrobatics check or a knowledge local check.
Acrobatics. I actually don't have knowledge local, so I didn't really know it was a thing.
Gotcha. I was gonna say that's a lower skill for you, but
Yeah.
okay. So acrobatics, and that's gonna be against his. Give me 1 second. You can
Pretty
imagine.
shitty roll.
Yeah, for you that is.
Yeah.
I got a much higher base roll with a much lower modifier, and you actually are able to close the gap enough that if you were more or less, because he's one more success, and you'd be able to like be engaged with him again.
It's an escape. It's an escape situation.
Mm-hmm. So then it goes to nope, that guy's dead now. And that's it. There's the dazed guy and the guy that's running. So he starts running away. We're gonna go back and forth on your turn, Ollie, for that. And this guy's dazed and can't do anything about it. So Oh wait, actually, he's only dazed for what? Ollie, how many rounds did you daze them for?
1 round.
Oh, okay. He's not dazed
So he's
anymore.
okay now.
Yep.
But there's a guy right that my summons right on top of him.
Mm-hmm. What's up? I'll wait before I attack.
So I damaged the mall. You said it had like, what was it, 3 out of 5 or something?
Usually a weapon has like 3 durability. Yours actually has 5 durability.
Yeah, but I think mine was already partially damaged, so I think it was like 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 5. So now it's like 2 or 3 out of 5.
You are correct, actually. So yeah, this makes it 2. It has remaining 3 out of 5.
Okay, so I just have to get it repaired.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you who's next? So he is actually going to make his attack roll. I as a DM know this is frivolous.
Oh wait, the guy on the ground? He's gonna attack from the ground.
The guy on the ground's squished.
Okay.
Your construct killed the guy on the ground. The other guy was standing but dazed.
Oh, okay. So he's gonna attack the construct.
Yes, sir.
Or the big Morty.
Either that or Mortifer, yeah.
I mean, the construct's he had it walk straight up in his face, so he's playing defense. I actually did hit. I rolled minimum. I did a whopping 5 points of damage.
Ow.
Does it have DR?
No.
But how many health points does it have?
54.
Oh, just have to one-up Mortifer with this construct on everything, huh? 53, 54, whatever.
Actually, concept.
Because Dave knows what he's doing when he's.
Sorry, excuse me. 47. 47.
So it's actually an old thing where like I actually like the idea of these things as long as the party blends well, but some people hate summoners in the party because of things like that, especially the summoner class. But I actually like these things personally, even as a PC.
Games.
I like the idea. Sometimes they slow things up a lot, but Dave actually knows what he's doing.
Yep.
So it's fun.
I as a PC.
Yeah. Well, I've played summoners before.
Many times. So Mortifer, it's your turn. There's the guy that is just stabs the construct in front of you, and there's Ollie's giving chase.
You mean the guy who's flanked between the construct?
Scott, have you ever played with a PC who took conjure animals as a druid in 5e?
In 5e, no.
You did once. It's happened once.
Not with me as a DM.
Standard action.
You as a player.
Ash.
Oh, as a player.
Scott, standard action. Summon 8 wolves.
Yeah.
They last for 8 hours.
And that's why
it's annoying.
I am never homebrewing a summoner class because they are not fun in 25e.
They're not fun in any edition, really. If you go back to third edition flat, there's actually the way cleaving attacks worked was you could actually summon like a creature next to you with like almost no AC, and you would hit it, and it would automatically explode the boar to hit the boss for free.
Oh, you're talking about the 4E joke about it would be like a goblin next to an unhittable boss with an AC of 58, but you hit the goblin and you just keep cleaving into the boss.
So you just summon a whole bunch of like nothings and just. So, anyways, moving on. You, Mortifer, do you want to squish the guy that's in front of you? He's actually not, because of Angelus, he's actually not flanking, but that's fine. You.
Not if I'm rolling like that, but yeah, I'll try to kill him.
Okay, you get the +2 for reckless offense, because nobody's attacking you anyways, apparently.
Yes, and he's no longer dazed and he's not prone or anything, right?
Mm-hmm. You are correct.
There we go, 18.
It's a hit. 20 points. That's funny. The weaker one would have done more damage. 20 points of damage. Again, it's one of those things where Mortifer doesn't want to waste time. He's on a rampage, and he needs to catch up to the fact that the other one's running away. Mortifer literally just starts walking past this person, and as he's like walking past him, just kind of like swings his hammer, lazily, and just smashes him into the wall next to him, and just he dies.
I was actually hoping he lived and he could take an attack of opportunity from the ground. That would be funny.
Mortifer, the DC's high, similar to before, just because how fluffing tall you are. You were able to, with your 30 feet, same as I said to Ollie before, get up to more or less the door. You're just shy of the door that Ollie just ran through. Roll me a perception check. I mean, your character is supposed to be the perceptive one, so you actually see Shashuk pop, he is running behind a couple of buildings and takes a turn. So it's one of those, if you head a direction, you can, they're quick. You might be able to catch up to head them off, but at least you know which way they're going. That's your turn, though.
Yeah, I'll take the shortest route I see.
Yep. That gives us to Einar. Einar, your construct, I imagine, can't really do much more at this point. Everyone's dead except for the one that they're chasing.
Well, the one technically fighting him is still alive. The one that hit him is standing in front of the construct.
That's the one that Mortifer just sideswiped and splatted.
It's okay. So it's gonna. What round is this? Is this like 5, 6?
Yeah.
The last 7 rounds. I don't know.
We'll say it disappears then.
Yeah. So we're getting close to its time limit.
I think it has been 7 rounds.
It's been that many, but we've been close.
Seeing them making a run for it, I guess I'm gonna look around and take time to actually count how many. I'm basically gonna leave combat, and I'm going to just count how many Templar are in here, and just make like an accounting. Drag the one from the outside in here, or I literally probably summon this is my long-term goal. This is not round by round anymore. My long-term goal is to summon another summon, like a cheap one that's just going to help me drag the ones that died outside back inside.
So, awesome. Dragging them out, counting them up, doing the account, more or less try to check things over, so on and so forth. Just stepping yourself out of combat to be useful. This actual combat has been going on for 8 rounds. Your summon has been here for 7 rounds. Your summon has been here for 5, so it can assist with dragging things in and killing anything that's kind of still moving a little. So you're
Sure.
good. Thank you, sir. Shashuk, you are giving the chase. This is going to be your acrobatics and non-circle. Okay. That +10 is just sexy.
My dice aren't.
Oh. I rolled I rolled a flat 16 plus 1 is 17. I actually just barely beat you. So what it is he doesn't pull away any further. He's just kind of like the same distance.
We're just running.
Yeah, you're just running, but he is actually making a clear cut towards the Queen's Hill. If you don't catch him in the next, say, 2 rolls, then he'll be in that realm, in that area of the city. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he is free and safe yet.
That doesn't change anything to Shashik at all.
So you're giving chase, and more or less, Mortifer, you're going to try to give chase as well, I imagine. You have no knowledge local. You have no acrobatics. So your task here isn't to, give chase to catch up. It's to get there after, if he could stop him to then engage. I'm guessing. unless you have any ability or any ideas that you think could
If
apply.
I get sight of him, I can try throwing a javelin at him.
What's the range of a javelin?
5 million feet. I don't know. I don't have a thing for that.
So does it say on your character sheet?
Range 30 feet.
Which means up to 5 times that you can throw up to 100 feet with an increasing -2 modifier. Up to a -10 to throw 100
Does that
feet.
change if I'm enlarged?
Nope, just does more damage because you're bigger.
That ain't how it works.
So, okay. So, why don't we do it this way? To line up that sort of an attack, to do that, roll me a CMB. It's kind of like your combat positioning.
Yeah.
So what you end up doing is as you're running, chasing after them, seeing one or the other, like around the alley or over the roofs or whatever, chasing after, but you can't, I mean, you're huge, but you move slower than them. And they're dodging down these alleys, like all of a sudden they turn this way and you're like, oh, and you're chasing after. Eventually you're like, what the fuck? And you pull out a javelin, you're giving chase. And then it's a ways away, but eventually there's like a bit of a clearing where you're going to be able to line up a shot. Not yet, but you might be able to line up a shot in a moment. Einar, you're doing that. Shashuk, you're giving chase. Roll me your acrobatics.
There we go.
I literally can't beat that.
That's the good stuff.
A natty 20 doesn't mean auto success. I only get a +1. You catch up to him. So you catch up to him and are able to engage him. So let's assume you're able to kind of like rush after. Would you do a melee attack against him, Ollie, or would you use a power on him?
My powers are melee attacks.
So the way that you actually are able to catch up to him technically is you're gonna have to. There's like a small straightaway.
I don't have like a ranged mind blast.
There's like a small straightaway that comes across, and so you're actually able to make a charge attack against him, which means -2 AC, +2 chance to hit, but you're able to actually close that gap and get to him.
Awesome. Is it a is it my double attack or is it just one attack? 'Cause
It's 1 because you're moving.
I will allow it, but I will register my displeasure with my manager.
With a +2, that's a 16, sir, and that's a touch attack. That is a definite hit. Do you tack anything onto that?
Nah.
Okay. 12 points of damage. I don't know if you remember this, but there was talks before that you had heard that somebody was kind of like caught underneath rocks and they had to unbury him and pull him out. He had taken a considerable amount of damage before. And when you reach out and you touch him, you actually cause him to stumble and like literally smack his shoulder into a wall and then like push off of it and keep running forward with like a hard, like, because like you just scared him so much. There's like a shakiness to him. So he's like clambering forward, but not with any grace to him whatsoever. He's still alive, but not doing well. That brings us to Mortifer. Mortifer, he, with where he is right now, is going to be 3 range bands out. Which is a -6 to your attack roll. You can line up your attack and you can throw it. I will warn you, if you roll a natural 1, which is only a 5% chance, there is somebody else that happens to be in that vicinity.
If I see he's engaged, I probably won't throw. I'll just run to try to get up to him.
It's not truly engaged because they're always back and forth between each other, which is why it's only a chance on a natty 1, and even then, it's not a definite hit. It's a percentage chance, which is something I don't often do. It's only certain circumstances.
Yeah, I just don't know that he would throw it if he sees. I think he was more... He just wants to kill. Yeah, he wants to kill right now. He'll attack.
Chaotic evil.
Yeah. So, I'm still reckless, I imagine, so...
It's one of those, if I kill Shashuk instead, he'll live.
Probably, yeah.
Well, you didn't roll a natty 1. So because you were rushing, throwing...
it's a -6 and a +5, so it's a -1, so an 8.
Yeah. So, no, that doesn't... Yeah. Sorry. Doesn't hit.
I imagine not.
Yeah, so the spear comes throwing down. So as he's kind of like clambering forward, pushes himself off the wall or whatever. So like, as he pushes himself off the wall, the spear like smashes into the wall, the javelin right there. So Shasha kind of like running after, like just to duck underneath that thing and like look over to see Mortifer standing there like, because he had missed off to the side. That brings us back round to it was Mortifer, because that guy tried to run again. He didn't try to engage. Shashuk, because he's trying to run one more time. One more time, Shashuk, you have to make an acrobatics to try to catch up to see if you can do something. Fuck yes.
Ooh.
Did he freely disengage?
It's a more cinematic fight.
Oh, okay.
16 plus 1, I beat you. So he does break through. He does finally gets a distance away enough that he's actually, weaving through the buildings. You chasing after him, trying to grab this guy again. Who's once again, he's kind of like smacking against things, looking over his shoulder, feared look at his eye, so on and so forth. Because again, reminder, technically speaking, these people are immune to fear, but you've actually put fear into his heart. Makes his way through the gateway and into where the Queen's
Brilliant.
hill is.
I will unequip my blades and equip my bow because it's a grand open space.
Open terrain. As soon as he comes through to the other side, kind of clambering through to the other side, Shashuk gets to go first. But he kind of runs forward, then he like turns around and he's running backwards and starting to like do a magic.
I mean, that's as much as Shashuk thinks.
But you just go. Take a shot, sir.
You have a +7.
Unfortunately, it's a 3. An 11 is not, unless there's any modifiers that I can't think of, which...
No. I don't get any kind of shenanigans on the bow. It's just...
Has there just been a lot of bad rolls recently, it feels like?
No. Unfortunately, Ollie consistently rolls poorly with his bow, which I just feel bad about, but unfortunately, just with the bow. So you take the shot, you miss, which is kind of like hits out 2 feet behind him, a couple inches to the side of where it could have hit a leg, and so now it's his turn.
Shashuk is saying incredibly rude things.
He all of a sudden
not repeating.
He finishes his incantation and actually throws up in front of him a huge wall of fire. Stretches out across the wall itself, but it's not like just straight across the wall. It like bands outwards, so it makes like a U shape from like somewhat inside of the doorway, the archway that you'd be coming through. So somewhere a little bit along that wall, U-shape arch, and then back. And then for those that understand how wall of fire works, the heat is of course pushing towards you guys. Like the heat is directed in that direction, which means somebody on this side of the wall could stand next to it safely. Someone on that side of the wall cannot stand next to it safely.
How high is the wall?
Actually, I need to look that
I think
up.
they're 10 feet high. They were in 5 feet, but then this is different, isn't it?
I didn't know how high and how wide they are.
They're like only a couple of feet wide usually.
This is something Mortifer could basically just step over.
20 feet long.
Yeah, but he's gonna burn his nuts.
20 feet tall.
Oh,
20 feet tall.
no.
So if you were an acrobatic boy, you could like
if
do
you
a...
could do a high jump.
The -4, I don't think I'm gonna risk that.
I'd like to see it,
I would be very happy.
I do have 35 temp hit points. I guess I could take it.
I mean, we saw how well you climbed over that other wall. It was 20 feet tall.
So is it...
My apologies. Let me go back to the initiative order. So he did that. That goes to Mortifer next. So Mortifer, just because you were behind, more or less, I'm sorry, you have to spend this whole round catching up to be, now you're in the vicinity of that wall, which brings us to...
Can I grab my javelin as I run up?
That was because you threw it over there and they kind of like ducked and weave. It wasn't on the way. You can go back and get it later, but it wasn't on the way.
So the wall of fire
It was on the
completely obscures my vision, and I can't go around it. So I'm going to start climbing the gate.
Okay.
Is that a climb or an acrobatics?
That is a climb.
Like put the bow in my teeth and start spidering up.
Okay, that's even better than last time. You clamber up the gate, and so you're kind of, you clamber up, so you're actually on the side of the wall. There's nobody defending the wall right now. You know what I mean? It's just not something that needs to be done
yeah.
at this moment. So you climb up to the side of the wall, and you look down. Clearly, this U shape that I had mentioned is the danger spot. You turn and you run along the wall for a moment to get to a spot where the fire comes to an end. And you're on the outside of it, and then you can drop down if you'd like.
No, I want to take shots on the dude.
Okay, then because how much? Yeah, exactly. Mortifer? No, not Mortifer. That goes to that guy. Seeing how quickly you clambered up the wall, and that the wall, you're literally up there, and you get your bow out, and you're starting to knock an arrow and everything. He's actually going to he kind of looks back, running, then looks like, oh shit! It starts throwing up another spell. Ollie, you're gonna fucking hate this spell. I'm just gonna tell you what it is. It's an entropic warding. It's 20%.
That's fantasy gibberish.
It's 20% miss chance. So even
I
if
have
you
that
hit,
spell.
even if you hit, it might miss.
I have that same spell.
So he throws up that spell, and then again is running. So Mortifer, you come up to the gateway, the 20-foot, and the wall over there.
My spell's called something better.
Would Mortifer think it's faster to jump over the fire or to try to climb the wall?
Honestly, I'm going to be just legit with you because you're newer to this game. Mortifer, what's your temporary HP?
35.
Just run through it.
That's kind of what I'm like. He's raging, not like the barbarian sense, but he's pissed off and he's chaotic evil today. I think he would just try to run. Yeah, I think if he thinks that it wouldn't hurt him that bad, he would just go right through it. I don't know how much damage a wall of fire does.
You're about to find out. So, thanks, Ollie.
Yeah, so he's gonna. If I run straight through it, is this guy gonna be in my range?
Not yet, but you can flat out start chasing after him. You know what I mean?
How far did this guy get with his fucking spell
he
casting?
took many full runs, but then he slowed down to cast a spell, so you
Two
will
spells.
catch up.
He's cast 2 spells.
But
now.
remember, you were behind Ollie before. So that second
much.
spell is the reason why. If he just kept running, it would have been fine, but the spells are slowing him down, so you can actually catch up. So moving on, you are able to, you just say fuck it and you run through. Okay? Hopefully I roll well. This is all fire damage. Oh, I actually did roll pretty decent. You take 24 points of damage.
Just run through it.
Which is, unfortunately, you still have, 11 temp HP left?
You really need to learn how to use the word "unfortunately" in the proper sense.
No, you've got to understand. Scott does the thing that you're not meant to do in D&D, where he's rooting for the bad guys. So when he says "unfortunately," it's unfortunate for the villains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the
That's
plot
why when he
device.
sometimes rolls attack rolls, he's like, yeah!
I'm so used to this, I don't even hear it.
Yeah. It's the plot device. I root for the plot device.
It's sadism.
Wade, you need to be in a game with me where I root for the players and I root for the adventure and the story. I don't cheer on the giant rat.
No, I learned from Scott. I always cheer for the bad guys.
Yeah. Mike does
This is
too.
how millennials do it.
Mike
We
does
have
too.
hope in our hearts.
Oh.
Why make the fans hate you, Scott?
Wait a second. We're millennials too.
No, you're like bad millennials. I'm a good.
We might be millennials, Scott, but you're.
No,
Scott's-
1985.
Yeah, no, Scott's a millennial. I think it's like 84 or 83 is like the cutoff.
Yeah. Like I think Dave is on the cusp because Dave's slightly older than me.
Well, my peers treat me like a millennial, so
And that's really all
my
that matters.
professional peers, not my like age-wise peers.
I loved when I had a boss that was literally 9 months older than me and would talk at me and like make millennial remarks to me, and I'm like, you realize you're a millennial. Anyways, let's stop
The
blanking
Mortifer
statements about
burst
people.
through the fire at
Burst
24
through.
feet tall. He burst through the 20-foot wall of
At
fire.
least that means your hair doesn't burn.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to lose any
Oh,
hair.
yeah,
So-
beard
so-
and-
To describe it, as you even get close to the fire, it literally says boiling your skin, just getting close to the fire. Because like the sheer heat that comes in this direction. And then running through it itself is licking and hurting, but it doesn't actually hurt you because you have temp HP. It just kind of like, steams off of you. You're safe to go. All right, moving on.
Am I in attack range of him now? Just not can't attack.
Next round, you'll be able to charge attack at him. Because of
But
like
not in range right now.
this round's no.
No.
Next round.
Okay.
So that brings us to Shashuk.
So no attack of opportunity.
I want to pew pew him.
You most certainly can.
I have points because I'm high.
A +1.
Wow.
2. See, look at that. The crit confirmed dice always rolls higher than the attack.
It does.
It throws
It's
off
a
the algorithm.
Conspiracy.
Yeah. Throws off
That,
the
I mean,
algorithm.
that's consistently, it always does that.
Yeah.
All right, so
God, just like you intended, right? Oh shit.
Yeah.
so that goes to the guy's turn, the dude man person's turn,
This is
and
epic.
so seeing like you rushing through
About
the
intention.
wall of fire and that not stopping you at all. There's one of those, he
He
stops.
spins the round shitting himself, and then it's my turn.
He stops, turns
Minus
around,
42.
and he stops, turns around, saying a few words, and like gets his hands like out wide behind him, and is like watching you coming at him, and is just preparing an action for your turn, Mortifer. Mortifer,
He's gonna fucking like do a force knockback the second you get up to close.
do you charge attack him? You definitely can this turn.
Well, I mean, do I see him doing something that's obviously going
just-
to like?
Yeah, he's being magic-y.
Like the last 2 rounds, he looked behind his shoulder, stopped, like turned back and did a spell, then did it, turned back. Now he's doing the same thing. He's like mumbling and has his hand out wide.
I'm tired of this guy doing the shit he's doing, so I'm gonna get within range, and I'm gonna use Boots of Stomping to knock him prone.
That's literally what I was thinking about. That was literally what was going
I'm
through
just
my
gonna
mind.
knock him on his ass to
Yeah.
stop whatever bullshit he's trying to do.
Okay,
man.
hold on 1 second. So that's your plan, is to rush forward and do that, to rush up to him and like hit your boots.
Don't say it's my plan. It's what happens for cinematic reasons.
As
Just like he got away without having to disengage for cinematic reasons.
you go rushing after him, he turns back, like I said, turns back round, has his hand out wide, and literally you're running at him. He then throws his whole body, open palm down, smacks the ground in front of him, and
I'm in the air. I'm
Immediately.
getting ready to stomp.
the area immediately in front of you, in front of him, all the sands starts pulling together. Like literally, you can see like divots of sand
Something
happening.
that blows into his face.
All the divots of sand pulling together as it denses and turns into huge stone spikes that are aimed at your direction, somewhat to other directions as well, which then stretches out way more than the boots of Stomping's range. And you go rushing into that. Could you do me a favor? Could you make me a reflex saving throw?
Could you do me a favor? Don't be a dick.
I told you, man, he roots for the bad guys. There's no reasoning with his moral center.
Look at
I
these
think he just
garbage
spends this
rolls.
time Googling.
Look at the little. He calls me a gremlin.
He spends
Look at
this
the
time
little
Googling. He's like, what can I
smile.
give this guy since I'm losing to cheat?
No, that's a typical DM move. Like, oh shit, this guy's dying too fast.
And he's like, oh, their leader's dead. So this
he pops a
underling
health
is gonna
potion.
get 600 powers.
Scott, I feel like I'm watching myself 10 years ago.
So you go rushing into the spikes. The spikes are cutting through your legs and whatnot. Obviously, you're smart. Well, actually, would you keep going to pull off your maneuver, or would you stop because the spikes hurt? Like, would you take the damage to get to him? To say, fuck this guy, I'm getting to him.
I don't know. I guess depends how bad it hurts.
It hurts.
I'm pretty sure you have to leap into the air to stomp. So are these things in the ground or are they in the air?
They're in the ground. They come up a bit, but not enough to hit somebody that's in the air.
Well, then if I should be able to counteract his fucking ground attack with my jumping to stomp.
But you have to then land in the spikes to stomp. It's not like you jump in
Aren't
the
they?
air. and
Isn't it like
make
a wave of them going by?
No, it's not a wave. It's actually the whole area in front of him transforms.
terrain.
Yeah.
in front of him.
Okay.
Yeah. So would you say, fuck it, I'm going to take the damage, let me just hit this person, or would you stop?
He's pissed off today. He'll take it.
All right, I'm going to roll this. This makes me happy because the area you have to get through is actually not small.
Well, okay. I would see that, I suppose.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So you go rushing through the area. It does.
He's like, would you run through? By the way, it's a 10-mile radius.
No. It's just one of those like.
No,
would
please continue. Yes, and they're also on fire and poisoned.
No, nothing that crazy.
No, I know. Just go ahead and make up your bullshit as you go. Please.
He's
Continue.
reacting to your running. So it's actually only 26 points of damage, which ends up being for you 15 minus your DR of 2. You take 13 points of damage, which actually isn't much. So it's okay. So you take 13 points of damage, and you get in range to either stomp or smash, whatever you'd like to do.
I want to attack the DM.
Look, we have a time limit, so
Remember that
as
clip
much as
we
I
had
like
of
this
you
fight,
insulting your wife's dessert? I feel like we should bring that back.
Scott, you,
All right,
incite, you incite so much hate with your style of DMing.
All right, so inevitable strike. Boom.
incite so
Reckless
much hate for
offense.
having this show so late.
Boom. +7. Is there another
Early.
plus for being big? Is it a +2 for the size? What was it? What was the other +2 from earlier?
You're attacking, correct? Or are you
Yeah,
stomping?
if this fucker's just
Okay.
Well, I guess I was already stomping, so I'm just gonna stomp.
Okay, then I just make a saving throw. It's not a good save for me.
That's what I said I was gonna do, so that's what I'll do.
It's a reflex save. And this guy has shitty acrobatics, as we know.
What's
We already know his
the?
modifier is +1. You click your boots. Can you click it so it appears in chat so we can see the DC?
There's no place like home.
Because I think it's in there. Okay, crush your boots to stomping. Click. So it's unfortunately doesn't say the DC, but that's okay because I only got a 12 anyways. I'm gonna assume a 12 is low enough to fail.
It says on the Google, I think it was like a 16 or something.
Okay, so the reflex negates, doesn't negate. He gets knocked prone. He takes 1d4 points of non-lethal damage. Feel free to roll that. Whopping 1d4 points of non-lethal
want this
damage.
Hey, I hit him for 12 and he got knocked over. That might hurt.
I want this to hit the DM instead.
3 points of non-lethal damage. He's knocked prone.
Oh, it's non-lethal. Never mind. I don't want it to hit you.
It's non-lethal damage. He's knocked prone. But he actually is still conscious.
Yeah, he gained 10 more hit points while casting that spell.
No, he's still conscious. Is all I'm
got
saying.
you. No, I'm with you.
Mortifer, your turn's
I trust
over.
you. You're completely legit, Scott. I believe you.
Shashuk, it's your turn. You take a -4 to your ranged attack if you want to shoot a man that's prone. It's the one time rolls 90-20.
At this point, logically, it would make really no difference if he was prone or not. Although I do understand the concept of the rules.
What do you mean?
Because he would be, just from the position he would be in, he would be the exact same size target. But whatever, I guess I climb down. Now Mortifer's here.
Okay, so you climb down. Yep.
Careful.
I
He
climbed
also
down
had 4
quickly
sand
using
sharks that
gravity.
he sent over toward you, Shashuk.
Roll me an acrobatics. Because
I mean, technically in 5e, if someone is prone and you're standing right over them and you try to shoot them with a ranged weapon, don't you still have disadvantage?
Mhm.
Even though like you're literally right next to them? I think actually technically you do.
your ranged weapon gives you disadvantage in melee.
Yeah.
No.
shooting a prone
Okay,
person.
say you're
So two
technically.
It would be neutral. It would be normal.
No. So yeah, well,
It counts as
If they're
out.
prone-
But,
I think
but
we're
a
not
DM
playing
a DM could just say, "Nah, it's cool." So, anyways,
Good. A good one would.
so you Ollie, even though your clamber doesn't go well, you are able to like get
Land
down
like a
there without
cat.
taking damage. Yeah. That brings us to the guy on the ground's turn. He actually like holds one hand up.
Oh,
and
yeah,
says-
okay.
And says, "Stop. We can talk."
Okay.
There was magic behind those words, so you know.
I'm not shocked. This is an underling that has more powers than the leader did. I get you.
I said it was an underling.
Go ahead.
This is
The
your
leader
target.
was the guy who got killed forever ago.
No. That was the leader of the non-magic-y people.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is the sorcerer queen of Nebene. So
Anyway.
what am I rolling, Scott?
No, honestly, are you actually confused? Or are you just like poking fun because that's fun? Because the
No, I'm
leader,
good.
no, the guy, the leader guy,
The
guy-
leader of the one Templar group is the one that we killed before.
yeah. Okay, he was not the. Yeah, okay, cool. All
We
right.
didn't know who this guy was.
Yeah. All right, cool. You're just being mean to me
I'm
for
just
fun.
giving you shit.
Okay. I was like, oh no, I don't want that to be confused.
I didn't know what this guy had, but obviously he had more powers than not.
That's fine. So he throws
See,
up his
a
hand.
lot of these we killed very quickly. Being a magical characters, they are strong if you let them live for any period of time.
So what am I rolling?
You nothing. You do what you want to do. It's your turn.
He's not going to do anything. He's just going to kill him.
Okay, so you go to attack him. Now you have to roll me a will
now
save.
what do I roll?
A will save. Okay. Sanctuary. Oh, come on!
There you go.
Ah! Sanctuary means you can't attack me, but
Oh, and now he's a prone target. And I already used my PowerPoint to give myself a +5 to attack.
So +9.
And a reckless offense.
Plus 11.
Time to make his innie be an Audi.
It's plus
Natty
11.
one.
I know.
Probably a natty one, yeah.
No, natty one is like really like the only thing. No, you're fine.
Okay.
So 26.
Yeah. Plus 11, 26. You hit, sir. Go ahead. Roll your damage.
$21.
He had literally 1 health point left.
Good.
Because he had 4, and you did 3 non-lethal. Even if you did 4 on that roll for non-lethal damage, you could have knocked him to 0. He still
And I
technically
specifically
would have
want
been
to aim right for his head and leave the rest of his body intact and just annihilate the head.
conscious. And you squish his head. I have a question to ask you, boys. Do you walk back to the Ivory Tower, the Alabaster Castle, or do you go back to rejoin Einar?
Kill, is it? This isn't the group we were supposed to kill. I thought it was the powerful group. I thought we were just searching.
They were in the same place. We've done what we need to do, but we need to now go back and count the bodies.
Does Mortifer have a tattoo?
You look at your hand. Is there a tattoo? Literally, as you kill that guy, a tattoo starts to form.
Yes. Yes! Finally, Jack will see Mortifer has killed a Templar as well.
Well,
He looks at
season 2.
Shashuk like very thankful that Shashuk didn't take this kill at the end like Jack had before. He just like happily shows you that, like for the first time seeming happy, he shows you his hand.
There's like a... and then just flops
I
in
imagine
the
he's like
sand.
he literally does a fist pump, and he's like, yes.
Oh yeah, Mortifer's celebrating. Part of his pants are still on fire. He just like puts it out.
Welcome to Dark Sun, Season 2. That was fun. Let's do our roundabouts. Who we are, how you can find
Oh wow,
us.
we're just ending out in the middle of...
Yes.
Ollie, it's you. Well, because you gotta go back and you're gonna talk. Ollie.
I'm Ollie. You can find me at Twitch and Twitter at OllieRant. D&D shows. I do them. If you like your shows to be deep in story and setting and characters and not just buildings collapsing on people and cheeky grins, although sometimes I'm also prone to a cheeky grin. I do a game on Sundays that is a D&D 5e game at midnight. That is about a group of monster hunters. And we do Stars White Number Ardent with Scott. I have no idea where he is in relation to me. On Wednesdays on my channel at 7 p.m. That is a sci-fi spacey game. And I also do other stuff on my channel, either art streams, because I am a fantasy illustrator, where I do my commissions on stream, or I'm doing stuff. There'll be some spooky spook month stuff going on. You're going to get to watch me play scary games, probably. I don't know.
Wade.
There's a new scary game out that I've been told I need to try, by the way. Vestige, I think it's called.
No idea.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
It's supposedly
It sounds like a horror
Silent
game.
Hill PT inspired, but I don't know. Probably worth checking out. Just throwing that out there. I'm Wade, Lord Minion 777 on YouTube, Minion 777 on Twitch. You can find me most places, Lord Minion 777, or on a variation thereof, because my name gets stolen a lot because people love my awesome, really cool name that I wish I could change. And I'm here every Wednesday night for Star Wars and every other Thursday for Dark Sun. However, we'll be back next Thursday, I think, right?
Oh,
This
no.
is a makeup session, so
Yep.
we're getting back on track next week.
Correct.
So we'll see you guys hopefully next Wednesday and Thursday for more D&D.
And David.
So I am not a streamer. However, I do work with streamers, helping them establish businesses. If you ever are interested in doing what you see before you and you actually want to do it as a business, hit me up at my Twitter at YouTube Lawyer. And I can help you out on the more serious, boring side of things that a lot of people find intimidating, but I can show you it is quite easy as long as you know how to do it.
And I'm Delric. I do 37 D&D campaigns a week because that makes perfect sense. You can find all of them by finding my schedule and places where it's posted. So you can fact check that. It'd be fun.
But there may be a little bit of hyperbole.
With Scott? No.
No, never.
Bye. See you on Wednesday. Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be session 1 of season 2, Star Wars: Faded in the Stars, where we not only get to.
If you haven't caught up on that series, catch up on that series ASAP.
Definitely. Yep, no, definitely do. Where not only are we going to be, well, there will be a session 0 beforehand, but don't worry about that. Where we're not only going to be getting back into the story taking place a period of time later, but we're also going to be introducing the new party members to the old party members because somebody went sociopathic, psychopath, murder bot thing, and yeah, spoilers. Yeah, totally check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun next Wednesday. I will say that gives you a gap of time between now and that session 1. If you are in the Patreon tier where you can add in characters or items, now's the time to do it. My new character likes guns, so.
Oh God, I love it.